So I guess we can start on time, and then if he shows up, then we can patch him in.
Right here.
Yes.
Thanks for having me tonight.
Sorry, Brian, can you grab that mic? Oh, I guess the microphone's for everybody. Yeah, just move it over to you. Thank you.
All right, tonight I'll go through the FY '27 budget request from the facilities department. Per the board's request, I have three different proposals. I have a level service, level funded, and a 3% decrease to this current year's budget. I don't have any major requests. I'm not looking to add any new positions. I feel from the boards and the finance committee's cooperation, the past couple of years, we're at a good level staff-wise to cover all the areas that we need to cover. As far as, I don't know how you want to do this, if I want to just go through the level service requests, or if you want to stop me for
Do you
questions.
have a preference?
I think level service is fine to go over because that's what we've done in the past, and then if there's any, if we do have, I think we talked this year about if we do have to make cuts from budgets, we'll go back to department heads and kind of work through it with them. But if there's anything that would definitely be cut, then we can talk about it now, but if not, then we
Okay.
can talk about it if we have to all there.
Okay, so I'll go through my level service request. Just to give you some background on where these numbers came from. For my union staff positions, we're currently negotiating the next year contract. So what I did was I took anyone that was eligible for a step increase. I did include that number. A lot of our staff is maxed out, so they are where they are based on the current contract that we're abiding by. And that number includes their staff hourly rate, it includes clothing allowance.
Also, Mike.
Overtime clothing allowance, summer help, and the salaries plus their longevity, and that's kind of where that number came from.
But if they need a contract for next fiscal year, or they don't?
Well, we're currently working on the old contract now, so there will be, once the rates are determined, some retro and other calculations. Sorry? It's not yet, it's fine, we're going on the terms of the old contracts. Correct.
So the salaries that are here will presumably change.
The salaries that are here is the only numbers I could go by, the ones I have. They will go up, which could impact, level funded or the 3% change, if it could impact, or will impact some of those cuts if we're going to do it, and impact the percentage there. Just to go through some line items, and please stop me if there's any questions of where I came up with these. So the facilities expense line item number one, I'm not requesting any changes. We did get an increase last year, and I feel like we're on track to, we're at a good level there to order and to handle it, all those items that come out of that line item. So contractual services, I am asking for an additional $5,000, and that is for, as the longer I've been here, we are finding different different systems that may have not been looked at. For example, a fire panel at the Parks and Rec, that was off our radar. It was serviced maybe 5-6 years ago. We had an issue with it and we had no one to contact. So that's creating a repair. So that would come out of the repair cost, but then an annual inspection, which wasn't an expense last fiscal year. So there's not a lot of that, and we haven't caught much of that over my 5 years here. But every now and then, something pops up where we try and look for past data and contractors who work with them, and then we realize, one, we're not budgeted for it, but two, moving forward, we need that service to continue. So that's one reason for that small increase in that line item. Tree removal services, no change there. Repair,
Perfect.
Yeah.
Question, then. So is that based on what you plan on doing for tree removal or just what happens?
so within the tree removal, we have a lengthy list from residents that call in for trees and limbs falling down. I believe right now, there's currently 23 trees that are pending for removal. This also includes any equipment repairs like that are specific to tree removal, safety, PPE, signage, things like that. And the list continues to grow. We are getting, with this line item being included, I think 2 or 3 years ago, we've seen a significant decrease in emergency response calls. So it is allowing us to be a little bit more proactive than reactive. So it is an important line item, and it is, I believe right now, when I did submit this as of January, there's $24,000 left in that. And again, we never know when those calls are gonna come, so
Thank you.
you're welcome. Repairs and maintenance, I am asking for an additional $10,000. I did ask for this last year, it wasn't, I'm trying to think, did it increase? So this is for increase in material costs. This line item is very unpredictable. It's something we can manage, but there are repairs that we have to make. We can't wait till the next fiscal year. We could have slow months and we could have months where, days and weeks that we're spending $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 on something that just a plumbing issue or an electrical issue or things like that. A lot of it is HVAC related, repairs, valves, and we've tried to attack that in other avenues, which I'll get into as far as ARPA money, ARPA funds and past warrant articles to kind of absorb some of that cost. Facilities equipment, no change there. Capital improvements, no change there. These two items are manageable as far as being able to plan, be proactive. There's no surprises there, so we can get quotes, get contractors, and kind of know what we're dealing with as opposed to a repair cost that it could be $1,000 or it could be $6,000, depending on the severity. So that we do have, it's more planning involved, so there's no change needed there. Then moving into alternative funding available. Just some updates, kind of the balance of where we're at. And here's some of the grants, FY '25 kind of rolled into this current fiscal year. We did get a grant for $356,000. And we used all of that for the Clinton High School chiller replacement. So there is no balance. That was installed back in July of '25. Up and running, operational. We received last summer, so this current fiscal year, $57,643 to complete a weatherization project, insulation, the roof walls level, kind of, I think we did the gym, some classrooms, and that was completed in November of this fiscal year, so there's a balance of zero there. The two ARPA projects that we did a chiller replacement at the elementary school and we did a chiller replacement at the high school, went through National Grid and the town received a rebate. For the high school, for energy savings, we received a check for $29,143. For the elementary school, $16,992. That money, we do have the checks that was deposited. It will be, I was told it will be put back into a current warrant article because it is HVAC related. And that money is already kind of spoken for with HVAC related projects. that were approved, I want to say early December. Haven't been completed yet, but the timeline is sometime this spring. Another potential, I know, an email went out, was some money that would, from the state legislature to be earmarked for the town of Clinton. I know there's probably several different projects, but I did put in for $65,000 for having, you know, if they wanted to take a look at it for the town hall exterior paint for the window frames, the soffit around the building, any trim work that is starting to peel. So that potentially, it's not there, but I don't know if it'll be approved, but it's something that we're trying for. So that could be another avenue to complete a project that's not with money from the budget, so. One of the sheets you have is related to ARPA, and it just given a status of all the facilities-related ARPA projects over the last couple of years, a total spent and kind of where we're at with them. So everything that was approved by the board has been completed within the facilities department. And it just has a list of all the projects that we were able to complete with those funds. So it was a busy couple of years. It reset the clock on a lot of items that might have had to wait. So it was, I think, money well spent in a lot of these different locations, so. I have, so FY '27, like I said, no new vehicles, no staffing, everything's pretty much the same. I most likely will be requesting $200,000 for town and school HVAC repairs and upgrades. And the biggest portion of this is to replenish the glycol in the chillers or in the HVAC systems at the elementary school and the high school. So we have 2 new chillers in the process. We've been finding that the glycol level was low and old, which was causing more repairs and more trouble, and the valves and valves holding and deteriorating pipes and things like that. So we flushed both systems, and now in order to get them back to a safe freeze protection level, per school, rough numbers about $60,000 each to get to like a 33% chance that we'll run our chillers more effectively, less wear and tear on the whole infrastructure, and pretty much try to protect their investment in the new equipment. So that's mainly what those funds would be used for. And the remaining would be to help supplement some of the repair costs that HVAC related items have been causing us over the last, since I've been here. It's a big portion of our repair expenses. And they're pretty expensive repairs. Even the minor ones can add up pretty quickly, so. Any questions on anything so far?
I have a question.
Sure.
On capital improvements,
Yeah.
25, there's no change. What are some examples of something you'd use that for?
So I would use that for any kind of big equipment purchases, any kind of roof repairs. We're looking at, like, the police station roof is 20-something years old. We're looking at actually the schools, to potentially do that in port sections, depending on pricing and
It's ongoing work that you do.
it's ongoing work. It's kind of larger scale projects that we can plan for and be, a little bit more proactive, so.
If you don't have it, it's just a waste.
I'm sorry?
If you don't have the money, you have to delay it.
Correct. And again, we're trying to prioritize where we can wait if we have to. It's not an urgent need. So that's kind of what we want to get to, so.
Thank you, Ron.
Yep. The only other items- yeah.
I just have a question.
Sure.
On the expansion of the Reservoir Pines.
Yeah.
What do you anticipate for a time period of where we would have to start looking at these.
So I think,
Phase 2 of the.
yeah, I would say that I put this in there. I don't have all the details as far as capacity and where we're at. I know that I can get those numbers. I would say in the next year, we should start discussing. That's all. It's just kind of a conversation starter as what's the process entail? And then what's, what funding sources and how much will it be? I wasn't a part of the original one,
Right.
so I know there is a plan, or there was a layout of the
Well, I
expansion.
know in the past, like when we developed the Reservoir Pines and did a lot of rehab work at the Woodlawn Cemetery, that was all taken out of the cemetery trust fund. So I don't know how much is in there. Maybe that's something, Diane, you could get us a figure on. I'm sure there's not that kind of money in there now, but we were very fortunate at that period. I think there was like $1.2 million at that particular time, so.
Yeah, I don't have access to that, so I wouldn't, I did put this as kind of a placeholder. It's not really, it's not impacting this year's budget or anything, but it is something that I think we need to start having a conversation about and maybe start putting a plan together. as to
Definitely.
How that's gonna look.
Yeah.
Ryan, on the capital improvements.
Yeah.
Your total for fiscal year is 260 on the thing from gas. What was 35 for emergencies that come up for?
Yeah, some of that is for unexpected costs, like some of my numbers aren't, or they're close to what a quote is, but if we're not doing them right away, that number could change. So there is a little buffer, but it's more for, if we get a quote in December, most likely, and it's probably that can't get until August, they're not gonna hold that number for us, so there's contingencies.
Thank you.
I have kind of just a general question, Brian, like, are there any, like, I guess, buildings or aspects of what your department covers that kind of worries you or keeps you up at night or any, like, this building is,
I mean, for the most part,
I know you kind of like diligently look at the repairs and try to
yeah,
keep on,
I
I
mean,
mean,
I
is there
think
any
a
that
lot
like
of- a lot
give you
of our
headache?
systems, and we did it, I'm proud that we were able to push the chiller project through, because one of them died completely.
Yeah,
There are some things we need to start looking at as far as, like AC, and I think our boilers are in good shape. I think that the AC units in the town hall are okay. We've had them serviced and looked at, so I'm not worried about anything failing, but it is something that's on our radar to improve. Either, you can do it in phases, or you can do it in a lump sum if there's any grants or things like that we're looking for. And if we can do it in one swoop, we'll do it in one swoop. But other than that, I feel like the improvements we're making are resetting the clock on a lot of the big ticket items. ARPA was a big help.
yeah,
And then with our annual budget, the way it is, I feel like we can maintain and make improvements depending on if there is an emergency repair or something like that. But there are unknowns in this,
yeah.
field. But I think we're getting to a point where the calls are fewer and fewer, and things are running a little bit more smoothly than maybe in my first couple of years here, so.
That's good to hear. Great. Any more questions?
Questions or anything else?
Yeah, I have a question on the garage up at,
Yes.
on the school grounds.
Yep.
I don't know if you can speak to that.
Yeah, so we have, in a warrant article, so there's 152 and some change left in that, and that is allocated for the field house in a way. So I was waiting for the winter and to speak with Gary, because Jimmy Sandman was here previously. I wanted to make sure that the layout itself was compliant with the power lines there. So I want to remeasure. I want to talk to a couple people that have put up structures like that.
Yeah.
Because you can go about it a couple different ways. There's some that you can order the material, they drop it in the parking lot, and then you hire someone to do it. So I'm kind of looking at, all right, what's a cost differential between doing that or just a one-stop shop where you buy from this company and they have their own contractors that they do. So I'm looking at pricing, but I'm also looking at the size, I'm looking at the space we need or might need. And just making sure that we have all those measurements and everything right, and it's gonna be what's gonna last and what, you know, we don't run out of room in a year or two. But I think we can make it it's on my radar for hopefully to have something written up, here's the specs. Probably go out to bid, I don't know if we're gonna have to, because it might be something that is under that threshold, I don't know yet, but the money's there. Any remaining funds will be used up in that complex for any potential items that need addressing as well, so.
Perfect,
It is time to get going on that though, so, yeah.
perfect. For the SEMA building, what does that cost roughly to maintain or uphold, or, you know, at what point do we consider retiring it and maybe do something similar to what you're thinking about up at the school?
Yeah, I mean, I would say from my budget, there hasn't been a lot of money put into that. There's been money to maintain the space that they use. I mean, the upstairs is a nightmare. You can't even, it's not safe, it's not. But I know all their gear, all their equipment is downstairs. That would, I mean, it might be a better question for Chief Lutz or Chief Coyne, just because, well, Chief Lutz I know is there quite a bit. But I don't see, I know we pay for oil, that they pay for, it doesn't come out of my budget. We did some plumbing repairs, sewage, piping, I wanna say 2 years ago, and that, you know, that was pretty pricey, that might have been $6,000 to $8,000. But we, you know, we do what we need to do to make sure that they get the use, you know, whatever they use it for, is safe. But the building itself, I think it's a conversation of what you wanna do with it, cause we don't wanna put good money into bad, you know? so,
Right.
But it definitely needs work, so.
Madam Chairman, Brian, just one question. On your capital projects, you've got 20,000 plus for the town hall roof. I know we've done some repairs in the last year. I think it's the last page, Brian, on the.
Yeah, so that was just to show kind of what has already been done. So we had a roof inspection, and out of that inspection was some recommendations, tile repair, so we ordered a couple pallets of the tiles that are there.
Okay.
We do have extra in storage, so if, I think a couple years ago, there was some dropping off.
Sure.
The front and the Walnut Street side. So we had a contractor come in and share that up. And that did that. I think it was a little under, no, that might have been right on the number.
For the clothing,
Yeah,
so there's an allowance and the town is also responsible for providing
Right.
general uniforms.
Yeah.
Is that how it is also in the DPW? Do they have to provide shirts and provide the clothing allowance?
I don't want to speak for Kevin. I believe facilities, that's unique to facilities, that one portion in their, in the bargaining agreement.
Yeah.
So, but he can answer that for them. I'm not 100% sure. And that's for, I mean, we did up their clothing allowance last contract. It's being negotiated now, so I don't know how much I can discuss it.
Yep, yep.
But it's mainly used for, pretty much everyone on the facilities department has what was required by the contract. So right now, what we're doing is any new hires, we're making sure that we're fulfilling that obligation. And then they're kind of on their own from there. If they need something, we will, you know, we'll provide a T-shirt because we want them to represent the department and look put together and all that, so. But it's mainly for new hires at this point because a lot of the staff has been here. It's taken a couple of years to, get their 3-season jacket and whatever was specified in the contract, so it's more for new hires at this point.
All right, and then lastly, the carriage house.
Hmm.
So has there been any updated cost on what that?
So I don't have that information in front of me. I can get that for you.
Okay.
That's listed under facilities as a warrant article, but I don't see the invoices for that.
Gotcha.
So I would have to.
Okay.
double check, yeah.
Is the carriage house the council on aging?
Yes, yes.
Brian, on the second sheet, there you have subtotals, someplace you have the total. And then see like there's,
I think that's.
That's a total.
Total.
That's a total of all the line items.
I understand that, but on your budget,
That's just total, like,
That would be the
so
total.
that wouldn't be, subtotal would be total. Right?
Yeah, it'd be total, yeah.
Thank you.
we good?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good, Brian.
Thank you.
Good job, Brian.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. You too.
Evening, everyone.
Well,
So what with the DPW, we work with 3 separate budgets. The Public Works, General Fund budget. Lucky enough, we're able to be level funded on that. There's really no changes other than there's a lot of blank spaces in all 3 budgets due to contractual agreements that have not been made yet. The DPW superintendent salaries, that's still a 2% step raise, which I have incorporated in that. Other than that, the wages, overtime, waiting for that, the clothing allowance, on all 3, the Public Works, water, sewer, and rubbish. So on the, well, do you want me to go through each individual budget and what I'm asking for capital needs in that budget? Or do you want me to kind of put it all together at the end?
When you say each individual budget, do you mean like each version of the budget? Or
Yes.
like water, okay.
Yeah,
No,
so like I have the road, DPW road, water, sewer, rubbish.
Oh, yes, yeah, I think go through each of them individually, and yes, and what you're asking for, I think that makes sense.
I have a real quick question before we start.
Yes.
So in the negotiations with the union, do you have any indication when we're gonna get those numbers?
I do not,
Are they on an expired contract or,
Yes.
yeah?
yes, we're still working on that now. Trying to finalize what their wants and needs are versus what our wants and needs are.
That the contract expired last July or this June 30th?
Last July.
For June 30th last year?
Yes, I'm sorry, yes, June 30th. Yeah. So like I said, the Public Works budget, that's all been level funded other than contractual raises and COLA, cost of living.
So there's no additional people and no, you're not asking for any increase to like miscellaneous or new equipment or anything?
Nope, just only in capital. Looking, yeah, just in the capital needs. Really, look, I'm requesting a new, pickup with a plow to replace a 2002 Ford with 108,000 miles on it. And the other capital need in road is from the infrastructure stabilization fund for more money for road work, road resurfacing, road work construction.
I got another quick question, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I noticed in the budget, like, for example, in Roberts, you have one vacancy, in Water Street, you have a vacancy, so someone planning on replacing those positions, that's why.
Yes, yes. Any questions on the regular DPW budget?
The road construction resurfacing, so can you remind me, is that like a standard kind of like yearly thing that happens where there's a transfer of money?
Yes, so for the last, this would be my third budget cycle. This will be the third year that I've asked for money from the stabilization fund for road resurface and road work, sidewalk repair, whatever we need to do.
And each
Madam
year,
Chair, we used to fill that from the landfill account, so I'm not sure how much more money's going in there or what the balance is, but I thought it was in decent shape before. I don't know. Michael, do you have any idea have we been putting money in that since the landfill closed, the infrastructure fund? Okay.
but that's where this money is coming from.
Right. Yeah, so, that's where the road resurfacing money comes from. And there's no more revenue coming from the soil, so there isn't any more money, new money, but there is quite a bit in there.
It's allowed us to do quite a bit, other than what the state gives us, but it's been $1 million or $2 million every year, something like that.
So last year I requested $1 million, this year I'm gonna request another $1 million.
And you have money remaining in that account?
Yes,
You have over
I
$1 million
do.
remaining, right?
Oh, gosh, yeah, I think so.
I have, in,
Stability fund.
Road improvements.
so in the, I have so from last year, I have 800,000 left from last year.
In the fiscal year before, it says 244 on your sheet here.
So the year before was, I had requested 250 because I was shy of asking for money.
That changes real quick.
He's come around.
It does. Well, coming with the background where I had nothing, I was very shy. And that also included money that was left over from another warrant article from prior years
Yeah,
to me being here.
I see that from June of 22. Yeah.
So $1 million for road improvements, fiscal '27. You have 800,000 left over. So you're looking for an additional 200,000?
Well, right now I'm requesting another $1 million.
So you have
So
a
I have,
total
so
of
that way
1.8.
there, I don't have to keep each year. So I'll have it in the warrant article. So,
Okay,
So like, for instance, like this year, what I had proposed for, road resurfacing projects, it's gonna be close to, like 800,000. And that's not including anything else that possibly could pop up in an emergency.
So we have about $800,000 worth of planned work already you're gonna do.
Yes, yes,
So you have $800,000 worth of planned work, and the 750,000 that you just mentioned, that's new?
$1 million.
yes,
$1 million.
yes, so the 750 is, the 750 to 800 is what I'm planning for this, for fiscal year 27 work,
Okay,
yes.
here's where I'm getting confused somewhere. You're looking for $1 million new dollars.
Yes,
So at some point in time, assuming that happens, you'll be with $1.8 million for road resurfacing.
yes,
But you're only planning, I think I'm quoting you, about 800,000.
yes.
So if you're only planning 800,000 and you have 800,000, why are you asking for $1 million?
So that's so I have, if I'm able to do more work, I'm able to do more work. If the construction company is able to say, hey, you know, we have an opening, I can be like, you know, bring it to the board and say, hey, let's resurface this additional road that's not on the list, or we can put it into sidewalk, construction, repair, just so we have, and then, like, most likely next year, I might not have to ask for money out of that stabilization fund. I might be able to skip a year for the request for the capital.
Now, does the board and you every year say, these are the streets we're fixing?
I give them a recommendation list of
Okay.
roads that I
So,
feel,
same as it used to be?
yes,
Okay,
yes,
thank you.
you're welcome.
And Madam Chair, just to be clear, this is fundings that can only be spent on road.
I understand that.
Now, how much does the state give you for road repair? Do they give you much?
So this year,
Different every year.
it is, so this fiscal year, we got, a regular 327,000. We had received an additional close to 150,000. So right now we're at like four something. And we kind of use that as another buffer for engineering fees, for if we do a project on a road, sidewalk projects. I know that we're gonna be utilizing some of that for, the Union Street, Walnut Street sidewalk, the, Prospect sidewalk project that they had gotten grants for.
Very good.
Madam Chair, while we're talking, go ahead, Bill.
Yes, Bill?
Go ahead, Bill.
I just want a clarification. The $1 million we're talking, appropriation we're talking about, I keep hearing it said it's coming from the stabilization fund. Is it coming from the landfill enterprise fund or from the town's primary stabilization fund?
A third. We took money from the landfill fund every year and put it into an infrastructure stability fund. Am I saying that right? So it's coming from that one. So I guess it's used to be landfill through another stability, but not the general stability.
Thank you.
It's not the general, it's the.
Just for,
And-
just for infrastructure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I just went through and looked at, the last three warrant articles for road improvements, and based upon, the current balance that's remaining, I came up with $1.2 million that appears to be unspent. So on top of the million that you're asking for, it would be $2.2 million based upon this spreadsheet that I'm looking at, fiscal year 26.
Well, and mine,
It says, yeah, it shows $244,000 in June 22.
those are all been spent.
Okay, so current balance $844,000. Current balance $107,000 and current balance $244,000.
Yeah, he says that it was expended. I think
That says
that's
current.
what he's saying.
So the
Yeah.
original amount and current balance, expected completion would be December 2026.
And he says it's been spent.
So this,
So the remaining is the 844, correct? Because you spent the 244 and the 107, correct, Kevin?
this is on the
Yes.
warrant article
Yeah.
status form.
So all those, so I'm going off of the actual budget sheets from the accountant office. Those have been, for some reason, those were a misprint on my behalf. Those have been closed out because they've been closed out on the actual, budget sheets. So right now, I have $812,909.36. And that was from last year's warrant article for the $1 million.
Okay, and then, all right, so then, as far as the status of any of these other warrant articles, so, there's the, six-wheel dump truck, 43,000. So are all of these balances?
They look like they're updated.
Yeah, that's,
So the 244, that should have been a 25, not a 26. That was
gotcha,
complete at 25. That was my fault.
Understood,
I
okay.
apologize for the confusion. That's why you're getting that.
okay.
Um,
What about the Sterling Street design, free cash, 321,000?
Yep, so we're still, that's still in the works
Okay,
of planning and design. We are at the 25% mark for planning and design on that to submit to the state for their approval and keep moving forward.
okay. Understood.
Sorry about
No,
that.
that's all right, thank you.
Do you mind this week if, just updating it and just sending it? out,
Absolutely.
Just so we can.
Yep.
Thank you.
One more question on the landfill, are there still like costs associated with, like, I know that we closed it, but is there still costs like associated with maintaining it now?
Yes. Of course.
Oh, we don't have to jump to that budget if you don't want to, I was more so looking at the landfill closure warrant article that still has a balance, like, is that able to be used?
Yeah,
for
so,
maintenance now?
for some reason I don't have that.
But you still have to do monitoring of that, right?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
still have to do, pay the engineers for, the monitoring, and I don't know why it's not, did you get the landfill one?
Yeah, it's actually the last page, the budget.
Yeah, for some reason I don't have it.
Save
So, so it is used, we're still paying for, engineering costs, monitoring. There we go.
If that helps.
Shed some light on the subject. Maintenance, equipment to mow the landfill. Last spring, summer, we had cleaned out one of the three retainment basins at the pond. This year, we're scheduled to do two of the other three. Because just all the sediment coming in, it's getting thick. So we gotta hire subcontractor to come in, clean it out, pump it, clean the felt around the basins so it doesn't filter out into the ponds. That's why I kept the budget the way it is on the landfill to have money for the cost of the work.
Very good.
Anything on landfill?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, since you asked, contractor services, it maintains 100,000. Is there a reason why that may not be going down?
Well, that depends on how much sediment is actually in there.
That's good.
Yeah, it's just
Well, it's an obligation we have, because the DEP comes out and
Yeah.
monitors.
It's,
I mean,
but it's
It's something
it's one of
we want
those
to
things when you start something you don't know until it's underwater,
That's all knowns that we have.
it's all unknowns.
Do you cut the grass in-house? Or-
Yes.
Oh, you do?
We do. Yep.
What, do you have goats, or do you have people that?
We have two all-terrain mowers with 52-inch mowing decks.
Wow.
It takes, now that we have two, it takes about 2 or 3 weeks to completely mow it.
And how often are you required to do that?
They're only required us once a year, but I like to do it twice a year, just in case they come in for a surprise visit.
Yes.
It
Yep.
looks good. It's maintained.
Very good.
Water sewer enterprise. The only increase that I had asked for, all the other ones too, same thing with the contractuals, unsure of clothing allowance. I put in the longevity wages. I had requested 400,000 for pump station operation and maintenance. Just because we went over last year on that budget line item. And also that line item, we take a lot out of that. That is, in my cover letter, we kind of put down basically everything that it covers. The sewer pump stations, the water booster pump stations, the tanks, the filtration plant, the chemicals. We just received a letter 2 weeks ago that chemicals were going up in price. So kind of budgeting for that, for another unknown. So that's the only one that I have requested more money in.
What's coming off of debt and interest to make those numbers at the bottom go down so much?
I cannot answer that question.
Okay.
I did send you the bond schedule.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it was like some.
There were a lot of borrowings, so that,
Oh, okay.
exactly which ones.
I think with the raising of the water sewer money for billing, we've actually have been doing very well. So, and
Can I just jump in on, just because the debt and interest was just brought up, so I was looking at the, water sewer and the debt and interest, the 328,000. That would be from articles from last, or prior years. Oh, I assume last year because it doesn't look like,
It's anything that has been borrowed, and borrowed for a different number of years. So we have a schedule from the bank, and I have a spreadsheet of what's due every year.
gotcha. In WPAT,
Water pollution abatement.
Okay.
We borrow money from the state.
so I also increased the heat, light, and power by 20,000 on that line item. Just due to the increased prices. I had also added in another 25,000 in discretionary equipment for electric pump motor replacement for a sewer pump station on Fox Run Road that is getting very tired and in dire need of maintenance and replacement.
Is that like a one-time cost though?
Yes. As long as it lasts, as long as the other ones have.
How long they last?
15, 20 years with good maintenance. We always maintain the pump stations themselves, like where it's basically like a well. So we make sure that it's cleaned out so there's not a lot of heavy debris in there, that the pump's working twice as hard to have to remove, to push, further down the line. And in water, sewer, capital needs, requesting to purchase a single axle trailer, gas powered high pressure jetting tool so we can jet the sewer lines. If we have a backup, we're able to do it in-house. Use it on sewer, drainage lines. It's a all-around useful piece of equipment, so we don't have to go outside and hire a company to come in to do minor blockages in the sewer mains.
Wasn't that suggested in the past?
Yes. And also requesting 51,000 for a purchase of a new half-ton single cab four-wheel drive pickup with a plow, for the purpose of gathering water samples throughout town, picking up supplies, cleaning the inspection of the pump stations, and be able to plow the filtration plant, the water filtration plant, and the roadways. That would be replacing a 2002 Ford Ranger with 115,000 miles on it.
So you said that's not for one.
I'm sorry?
That would not be for one of the department, that would be used in different.
Yes, yeah. So it's all under like the water sewer. But it's more for the filtration plant because they don't, that truck that they have, it needs a lot of work to it. Any more questions on water sewer? rubbish enterprise fund. So again, contractual, waiting for unions, to figure out wages, clothing allowance, and everything on that. We are pretty much level funded right through. I had added on the very bottom, the compactor lease payment for the new trash truck for $60,563. Instead of adding that into compactor maintenance or rubbish maintenance and disposal, it was suggested that we made a separate line for it.
Did we just lease that's,
Yes.
okay.
Yep.
This past, or you're going to?
No, we just did. So 2 years ago, we got the okay to buy it. And then last year, we had, at town meeting, got the okay to do the leasing, and which we did. And we have the truck.
Madam Chairman, Kevin, how long is our contract for the existing rate that we're paying now for the rubbish that we're?
6 years. So
6 years?
So we'll be up, this will be, we'll have 5 more after.
Okay, so we're locked in at?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
and what are we paying now?
$60,563 per year.
Per year? No, I mean, for the, what we're, that's for the lease for the compactor.
Yes.
No, I was talking about how much are we paying per ton?
Oh.
And do we have a contract with them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So-
I don't have that number, right now. It's downstairs in my office.
Because I know we increased it to $3 per bag, so I'm just curious, is what we're getting per bag and what we have to pay at whatever rate it is, and I didn't know how much longer.
So.
Are we locked into a long-term contract with them, or?
Right, I'm hoping by, early summer, we're gonna have a different place to dump in Hudson, which is, hopefully cheaper and closer. Even if it's the same price in the long run, fuel costs, overtime, wear and tear on the truck, it's gonna be worth it to, go to Hudson. We're waiting on them to, finish their recycling dumping facility. Right now, they only have their transfer station that does the trash, dumping. They don't have the single stream, capabilities yet. I think it was, might have been, I'm not even gonna quote on it, how much I think it is per ton. But we are contracted in there, that we've been for 2 years, and they haven't adjusted their price.
So we have 2 years, that was our original contract with them?
Yeah, so.
And when is that up?
And they haven't sent us over anything. I'm
Okay.
not asking or telling.
Okay. Well, I mean, because that could have an impact.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so last year, I had budgeted for disposal for a proposed 5% increase, and they haven't increased. So I'm keeping that 5% in that disposal just in case.
When you mentioned overtime, is it overtime to empty is that where the empty?
Yes, yeah, so like it's 2 or 3 days a week where they're done, but then, because Westboro is, it's hour and a half ride. So by the time they come back, they're on overtime wages, so it's, 1, 2, 3 hours a week overtime. for the driver.
I just have one question related to roads. So I know I have mentioned this, you and I had talked about it briefly in the past about Franklin Street, High Street, where it appears that the road is starting to split. You know, there's some of the older roads that have been paved, you don't see it, the splitting per se. What can be done to extend the longevity of those roads? Because it looks like, you know, even on Franklin Street, it looks like every manhole is sinking, which is concerning, being that it just was done
Right.
for 10 years ago.
It's it really comes down to, the asphalt itself. They refine the oil so much now where the barrels used to have this much asphalt in it. They refine it so much now you have this much asphalt and it just doesn't last. It's brittle, plus they're using, the recyclable asphalt, products. So that takes away from it. You know, back 20 years ago, asphalt would last 20 years, 25 years before it would start to deteriorate. Now you're lucky if you get 8, maybe 10 years before it starts to break down.
So can they be sealed? Like I know over the road in Lancaster, a lot of the roads have some sealing.
Yeah, so you could do, we could do crack sealing, which fills in with a hot emulsion asphalt in the cracks, which seals it up so water doesn't penetrate down and blow it apart.
And the number one question that I'm always asked, when is Main Street going to be paved?
When is
Main
what?
Street.
Main Street? I don't know. I know that, like the park by Union, is that?
There was a
what-
plan to go from town line up to the school.
Yeah. So I know in my head, what I have planned is once they do the culvert repair, is be able to go up to past Union Street where the new, right past Tyka driveway, incorporate all that and get that done to smooth out the intersection at Union and Main and go over where they're gonna be digging up, for the culvert repair. I know that Main Street from, right now, there was plans already, made. Engineering design from, Depot Square to Lancaster Town Line.
Right.
I don't have a date. I know that they're waiting for, grants, to do that. Unfortunately, pretty much every year we wait, it goes up $1.5 million, like the Sterling Street project. That was figured at, like 2 or 3 million. Now it's up to 7 million. And that's not gonna be able to get funded until
27.
27, so it's like, what, where does it end?
Yeah, that's the stretch from Depot Square to, or Hampton Square to, Union Street it's a rough ride.
Yes.
Not as rough as down by Dunkin' Donuts and down by the Shaw area. That is horrendous. That is really bad.
I
I mean-
we can, there's always a Band-Aid for it, but in the long run, is it worth it? I mean, like what I did, year and a half, 2 years ago on Sterling Street, just to smooth that out in hopes that they were gonna be, we're gonna be on the list for fiscal year 27 for construction. And it's not happening.
So I can't even find that in the pipeline. And so is that a state project or a federal project? Main Street?
Main Street,
Because I see Sterling Street like on the registry and it's bumped. I can't find anything on Main Street. And I swear under your predecessor that we had, like I thought it was relatively close.
it's, that would be a question for Phil Duffy.
Sure.
I actually have it written down what, funding it was gonna come under from, I don't know if it was Mass DOT or the federal.
Yep.
Monies.
Well, the frustrating thing is that we had to do a redesign, had to pay all that extra money. We were scheduled for 26, now they pushed us back to 27. So, I mean, we've invested almost $800,000.
So, well, luckily, we haven't spent all of that money that I requested last year for. So what it was, the state had changed their specs for, the road. We started changing it, they went back to their original. So we haven't had to utilize all that money.
Oh, so they're saying that the original design was fine? We didn't have to do the second?
There was a few changes that the engineers had to make. But pretty much it was fine the original way, but the state was flip-flopping around.
And then they moved us back another year. Oh, well.
Any other questions?
But are there any plans on doing something with the landfill? Not just let it sit there, we commitment, we have to leave it the way it is for.
As of right now, I think the only talks that were in the midst was a possible solar array.
So who's talking about that?
Well, that's kind of what was talked before I came on board, I thought. I could be wrong. I know that, Lauren, that owns the property behind, the landfill.
Yeah.
They're looking to do some kind of a solar, project, but they needed a right of way to either go over the tracks or through the landfill for the transmission line for the electrical.
I'm just looking if we,
But that would,
we just paying money every year to maintain it up there.
that would be the way to go, is to put a solar array up there and make some money.
I like the goats idea.
Yeah.
The goats.
Wasn't there a buffer from when it was like, once it's capped and closed, and is there a buffer time that?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not sure what, if there is. I can find out. I don't think
No.
there is, but I can find out. I can ask the engineering firm.
Thank you very much.
Kevin, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Are we scheduled to talk to them about the insurance stuff, like helping the retirees or on a future agenda or?
Yeah.
I don't know, check.
No.
All right, so we can adjourn our meeting, right?
I'll make the motion, we adjourn.
Second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks for coming out.
Good night.
See you guys next week.
Yep.
Yes, yes.
Same time, same chance.
Sir. Have a good night.
Can we get 2 minute recess? 2 minute recess?
Mike, good seeing you.
All right. Being 7:23, I will call the select board meeting for March 18th, 2026 to order. First up is Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First on the agenda is public comment. Is anyone here for public comment? Thank you. Okay, that's all right.
This is Marie Letarte, the library director, and this is the first time since the Board of Library Commissioners gave their award announcements for library construction projects. So it's the first time I've been able to sit before the board, select board. And the total estimated cost of the project was $24,854.50. I need my glasses.
That's a great deal for a library. We could build 4 of them.
$24,854.52.
Okay.
The grant from the state is $11,316,000. Oh my God, $11,316,281. And so the town share of that would be $13,537,771. And that does include, the grant amount does include the EQV of 16.12%. So that's all I wanted you all to know, and that we're doing information sessions. And that's what little postcards are for, to break down it into smaller parts.
What, you mentioned EQV 16%.
That is based on, I can explain it more, something to do with the town's equal value. It just is, ours is 16.12%, so they add that on top of the initial grant. That's how they came up with the 11 million.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So it's included, yeah. And I know you guys don't want to have
Great.
questions,
No,
so
thank you for
I'm
that
good.
update.
And when I have more information, I'll be back.
okay.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Next is the review of minutes.
Did anyone have any concerns on any of the minutes, or we can just,
I did not.
No.
I can make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for September 3rd, 2025, September 17th, 2025, October 1st, 2025, October 22nd, 2025, November 5th, 2025, November 19th, 2025, and December 3rd, 2025.
Second.
Any discussion?
Thank you for
Yes, appreciate
getting
that.
these rolled up.
All those in favor? Oh, sorry, Bill's not here, so we have to do a roll call. Mary Rose, do you want to start?
Aye.
Matt Kobesai.
Julie Bruce, aye.
Sean Kerrigan, aye.
Bill Conley, aye.
5-0. Next up is the introduction of the fire prevention officer. Join us. Hello.
So first, I'd like to thank Bill, Sean, Julie, Matt, Mary Rose for taking us into this next step. This is huge to the fire department. To get into this point where, just for the community, for obviously my workload it's gonna help me a tremendous amount. I can't tell you how much this means. It's beyond words. That being said, we had two people apply. We had an assessment center go in and do an assessment for us. And our next fire prevention officer is sitting right beside me, and I'd like to introduce firefighter Greg Nelson.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. I know most of the board.
Yeah.
Just to bring you up to date as to where we're looking at right now, our goal is basically focusing on prevention before things like fires, emergencies happen. We'd like to try to get in front of it. Obviously, that's our primary goal. Working with the community to bring them into compliance through education is our primary goal. Educating the people why we need to look at fire safety outside of our day-to-day inspections with smoke detector inspections. It's being more proactive, getting out in the community. I don't want to say the face of the franchise, but I'm going to be a lot more visible than what we've been in the past. The superintendent of the schools gave us an office in the basement of the old elementary school to use, which is working out fantastic right now. It's open to the public for coming in, any questions. There's a cell phone direct to that office as well that the fire chief is set up with. if anyone has any questions, they can still call the fire department, and if it needs to be brought towards fire prevention, they'll give them that phone number to call us. Other than that, we're just trying to get out into the public right now and letting people know that we're there, and it's customer service. That's that's our goal, is helping people get to, making the community safe. We want the people that live here, work here, and come to visit the town to be safe and enjoy their time while they're here.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think, Chief Lutz has been advocating for this position for as long as I've been on the board. And it was exciting when the position was funded, and then, to then find out you were hired as the fire prevention officer is, I couldn't find a better person for the job. I've known Greg since I was a young kid. You've volunteered within the community for many years, and just hearing you talk about the community focus, I think is everything we hoped and dreamed for. So, you're a licensed electrician on top of it. So this is going to be a great thing for the town of Clinton. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, your skill set seems perfect, so really excited about that.
Yeah.
Let us know what we can do to help support your efforts.
Absolutely.
Sean and I manage the social media
Yeah. Oh,
too.
excellent.
So
Okay. Yes,
you're trying to get
yes.
the word
Oh, yes.
out. We can post on our town website, like whatever you need. Let us know.
I've been in the role for almost 3 weeks now, and working closely with, Gary Smith, the building commissioner. He's been phenomenal to work with. One of our goals, and hopefully sooner rather than later, is to get the online permitting up and established and working. Just because, I've done it again, Matt, on my electrical end of it. It's so much more convenient to fill that out and your permits, pay your fees and everything else. And even just coordinating, getting inspections done between Gary's office or the wiring inspector's office to the fire prevention office. It's literally a click of a mouse and it shows up on your computer so that you can move on to the next step, which is going to help us provide a better service to the contractors in town.
That's excellent.
It feels like it's all coming together.
Ray, I wish you all the best.
Yeah.
And I just, on a lighter note, is this the new look down there, that no one has hair, or is this just
We were both.
well, the next time I
decided that
see
it
you,
would just
you'll
be
have a
better look.
mustache, Ray.
I have a terrible mustache. So
No, honestly, though, I wish you all the best.
thank you.
I know it's gonna work out for the town, so that's the important part.
Sounds good. I got a question. Bill, where were you? Where were you?
Become a lumberjack.
What are you doing up there?
Working.
Okay, that answers that question. Not work. All right. I'll give you that, Bill.
We have a project in Burlington.
Sounds good.
And the lifts are still open.
What's that?
The lifts are still open too.
Spring skiing's the best season, right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Keep in touch.
All right, next up, we have a utility pole hearing related to Greeley Street. National Grid has filed a request to install a utility pole on Greeley Street. A representative from the company is, I don't believe, present. But we can still conduct the hearing. Okay, so let me go through my little speech and then you can come right up. So given this is a hearing, I'll ask that anyone who's speaking in favor of this pole installation come forward. Why don't you come up, sir? If you
I
if
am
you
Jeff
could just,
Gould.
state your name and address.
I am at 32 Greeley Street in Clinton. Factory building. I've had it for 30 years. My tenants burnt it down this past year, and we're rebuilding a new building there. As part of the rebuild, upgrading the electricity to current code, they need heavier wire from the street they need to put a pole across the street in our front yard on your land to supply the building. Can we do that, please?
Okay. And this is a brand new pole?
Brand new pole, yes.
Okay. Alrighty. Okay. Is there anyone else here to speak in favor of this pole? Okay, I'm going to close this portion of the hearing. Is anyone here to speak in opposition of this poll? I'll close that portion of the hearing.
Everybody wants it.
Yeah. No nays. Okay. What is the pleasure of the board?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the utility pole request made for
32.
32 Brook Street.
To Greeley.
Greeley, I'm sorry, 32 Greeley Street.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Roll call for a vote?
Mary Dick, aye. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's good.
Matt Kobesai.
Julie Pruitt, aye.
Sean Kerrigan, aye.
Bill Conley, aye.
Okay, 5-0. You're all set.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck with your
Thank you very
building.
When do you hope to have your
Yeah,
building
what's
done?
your?
It looks,
timeline?
it's coming
When do you
around.
hope to
Yeah,
have
it
your
looks
building
like
done?
It's getting there. The roof is on now. We're gonna get siding.
Yeah, it
so
looks like it, yeah.
July, August, we
Great.
should have people in there.
Great,
Terrific.
awesome.
Good luck.
Keep tabs. All right, next up, we have downtown consultant Lee Abdella about the mural project. Oh, what's happening? Oh,
Hi,
hello.
Lee Abdella, Downtown Development Consultant. Good to see everybody again. Wanted to just update the board on a project that we have going on that's going to, you're gonna start seeing it come to life much sooner rather than later. Thanks to Representative Kilcoyne's hard efforts, we received a $25,000 earmark last year for a additional mural work for downtown. And after consideration of how best to utilize those funds, we decided, the mural committee and myself decided that the best approach would be to, instead of doing a traditional mural, which paint only lasts, a few years and then it needs to be updated and whatnot, to go at it in a slightly different way and to do something on a more permanent basis. So with that in mind, one of the spots that I have been wanting to improve upon, part of this job is improving the gateways into this downtown so that they reflect the caliber and all the good things that are happening in downtown. That's why we did the larger mural down at Depot Square. The counterpoint of that is up by the police station, or the triangle, as I tend to call it. And is the top of your packet there is the existing fence that's there, which is obviously missing large sections of it, and the sections of it that are there are in extremely rough shape and rotting out. So we decided to go at this with replacing the fence with a fence that is actually a version of a mural. It has panels cut out of metal with artwork on them, and they're going to be, if you look at the third and fourth part of your packet, you'll see our plan is to replace that fence with a fence that looks like this, which it will have sections of chain, decorative chain across, but then also the blacked out sections are actually metal panels that are laser cut with different depictions and, things that represent the town. So that way it is a mural, it is a permanent fixture, it's not going to, be in need of repair in a few years. It beautifies a gateway into downtown. It also is a safer, cleaner thing as opposed to the existing condition of whatnot. In addition to replacing the fence itself, we'll also be replacing the handrails on that small staircase that comes down from the police station parking lot down to the street level. And luckily, we have a wonderful metal artisan who lives here in town. He's a metal fabricator, and he is on board to do this at a very reasonable rate, and we appreciate his efforts because this is his hometown and he wants to see something beautiful. So, right now, the timeline is that this work will physically start happening at the very beginning of May and be finished up by the end of the month. Because obviously with earmark money, it needs to be utilized and out the door by the end of June. So, that's it. So, just wanted to let
Just
you
add-
know all
yeah.
that.
Just add, we're still reviewing the design.
We're still reviewing the
Yeah.
part with what designs are gonna go on the panel, so we still have work to do. But we're definitely in good shape and moving forward. So, we wanted to let you know, also, we've, been interacting with Gary Smith down in buildings. He's aware of this and making sure it's up to code. Brian Farragher's read in for facilities, because it's, technically it's public land, obviously, so that would fall underneath Brian's purview. And started off, before we even started with this, with talking with Chief Coyne to make sure that he was something that he was comfortable and on board with, and he's fully supportive.
And he's good with like the line of sight and clearance at that intersection?
Good with the line of sight, so we took into consideration, if you look at the second photograph that's taken with the magnolia tree in the foreground, we're taking into consideration that we don't want to impede the light of sign if you are driving down Walt. Let's get this right. Coming down-
Chestnut.
Which one?
Chestnut?
Chestnut, sorry, wrong tree, not walnut, chestnut, that you're not going to, you'll be able to see people coming up Mechanics. The first 3 sections of this fence are going to be the chain link, and they don't start right away from that corner, so it's not going to impede any
I gotcha.
visual line for either directions.
Yeah.
So we've taken that definitely into consideration.
And like,
So.
and like you said, the rendering is like just fully blocked, but they will have like,
It doesn't
Trees,
just,
there'll be some
yeah, it
additional
doesn't
trees.
show the end of the, we ran out of paper, it doesn't show the full extent of it, because it's a good 260 feet of length, so we couldn't have the same piece of paper, but the first sections off the point will be chained, so it doesn't impede any of the sight lines of the drivers. So,
Just out of curiosity, so I think it's a great idea. I think very creative. Looking forward to seeing some additional information or illustrations of it. For these streetlights, where you mentioned this is the one of the gateways into downtown. What would it take to swap those lights out with the style that's downtown or something
retro
a
decorative
little
ones.
yeah,
more,
those, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. That would be a question for Phil. I do know that there's 9 holes on that sweep of Mechanics? Because we
Yeah,
looked
please
at that
do.
for,
Yeah.
come on up.
Good evening. Very briefly, we did a few years ago, a preliminary estimate on doing Mechanic Street in the same manner that we've done other sidewalk projects in downtown. I can't remember what the number was off the top of my head, but it was an expensive stretch of road. It's much longer than you think, and we can't count on reusing any of that wiring that's feeding those Cobra heads that are below. So we'd be happy to have our engineer work up an estimate of cost, an updated estimate, particularly now we have updates based on the downtown sidewalks project. So I don't have an answer for you, but right now, but we can have that answer, but it would be, if it was a curbing, sidewalk, and lighting project, it would probably be up around $700,000 or $800,000.
curbing.
If you had to dig up the
Sure.
water.
Do put the wires.
I mean,
I could work on the sidewalk, right?
Beg pardon?
That's what you mean, like work on the sidewalk in
Yeah,
order
but
to
if we were,
do the
if
footings?
we were to dig up the road to install new conduit, we'd have to replace the sidewalks. The sidewalks there are very deteriorated. It would have to be designed. There's also maybe some back of sidewalk issues with the slope coming down, in areas.
yeah, I mean, I would think that, and again, I'm not an electrician by any stretch. I watched a couple YouTube videos, but you have like the conduit that is underneath that sidewalk, even though if the wiring is not adequate,
Yep.
the conduit should still be, I don't, you know, anyways, I'll leave it up to the engineering piece, but I would,
If you would like, I can get a proposal from the engineer to work up an estimate of cost and see if that integrate into further grant funding applications.
yeah, I mean, with the earmark requests that have kind of come through, you know, I think because that's the old style lighting, so I would think newer lighting being more energy efficient and so on and so forth, but did you purposely try to catch that crack in the sidewalk that's right there? It looks like the San Andreas Falls.
I know Anzalados, but I'm trying to make sure, no, it's, I was more focused on the fact that it was like 30-mile-an-hour winds. So,
Thank you very much.
Can I, look, just one quick question? These are all but 8 feet? They're tough, yeah,
yes,
okay. So they're not like collector's items that people are gonna be able to walk off with,
they're gonna weigh several hundred pounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
It would be an impressive feat of
I just wanna
whatever,
make
and
sure,
they'll be-
thank you.
But what's nice is that the way that they're gonna be designed is that if something happened or there was something, you could actually take one of the panels, you could remove it with, not in the middle of the night, but like on purpose, and you could reinstall a different one. So if something, you wanted to celebrate something or something, whatever, you could update this fence over time and sort of mix and match, if you will.
Thanks.
So, right.
Thank you.
Good to see you. You wanna stay up?
Yeah, maybe.
Do you want me to just sit?
All right, yeah. Next up, we have Phil Duffy, Director of Community Economic Development, on multiple items, so.
Sure. Good evening, members of the board. First item on the agenda is the recommendation for award for the downtown sidewalk improvements project. I'm going to request that this item be tabled until your next meeting. Really, it's an administrative thing. To give you some background, with the award of a Complete Streets grant last month, we now have sufficient funds to move forward with this project. We had a budget shortfall initially. So we'll be awarding 2 separate contracts, one for site work and one for electrical work. But in short, there's a recommendation of award from our engineer that I thought I'd have in hand before this meeting, and I don't. So I expect to have it before your next meeting. So in order to keep the paperwork in order, I request that we table this to your next meeting.
No saw cuts on the joints. No saw cuts, right, Mr. Conley?
Sounds good to me, Mr. Corbett. Tool joints.
Tool joints.
Okay, next is informational. You may recall we issued the RFP for 329 High Street back, I believe, in December. We opened it on May 6th, Friday. We received 1 response. We are currently reviewing that and setting up a meeting with town council to go over next steps in terms of contract. Be happy to share those with you at your next meeting. But in short, the proposal purchase amount was $100, and the proposed investment is $266,000.
When did this open up?
Friday the 6th, so just after your last meeting.
Is it still open?
No, the RFP, that round closed. So we'd like to review this a little more, try to understand what language may be put in subsequent instruments to ensure that the investment is forthcoming, and then refer to you for your, for action. And you may choose to move forward, or you may choose to not move forward. That is at your discretion. We can have a discussion as to what alternative scenarios may be for moving forward with the property if we choose not to move forward with this proposal.
Madam Chairman, just a quick question, Phil.
Yep.
How viable do you think this is?
Very viable. It's a experienced developer who has experience in rehabilitating dilapidated properties.
Well, that's encouraging.
That is it.
Thank you.
I don't know, we're supposed to get into the details here, like, so is this like a flip project, or do they have plans to use it? I thought the idea was that they'd present a plan to use it,
Yeah, their proposed use is to lease it to a small business. So
to be determined.
Yeah, to be determined.
What, how did you communicate with the public about that opening? Because I believe at the last meeting, I don't think this was mentioned.
Well, with request for proposals, there's this, it's not like an invitation to bid where there's an open meeting, you open and everyone knows the numbers right away. The proposals are submitted by a due date, and then they are subsequently open. So in terms of how that was communicated, that was all in the RFP, which was advertised as required in the Central Register, Combis, and I believe Clinton Item, newspaper of local circulation. There were also articles on it in the Telegram and the Worcester Business Journal, I believe. So it was known. We did receive, we had 3 separate walkthroughs. We probably had 6 or 7 interested parties attend a walkthrough, but in the end, we received 1 proposal.
One is better than none.
If it's the right proposal.
That's right.
But
That's right.
we'll have that discussion subsequently.
Sure. And there's nothing that prevents you from re-advertising again
No.
and going
It's our,
through the process again. I mean,
If we were to go through the process again, I think we'd want to communicate with the people who pulled the plans. We have an email record of those people and ask them why they didn't
Sure.
submit a proposal. And the other option is to auction it off, or, if it can be done, if the town were to entertain holding the property, we'd have to understand if there was a legal mechanism for the town to do so. So, but we set out to do it along this model
Right.
of disposal of the property, and we have a bona fide response. And we're vetting that now and trying to understand what the next steps would be at the advice of council, if we were to move forward this and best ensure that the town's goals and objectives were going to be met. Okay.
thank you.
Okay, and then finally, at the chairwoman's request, just a discussion about Jabil's announcement of 2 weeks ago that they're going to be winding down operations at the Clinton facility. In short, our understanding is presently the same as everyone else's. It comes through the press release that was released by Jabil 2 weeks ago. Since that press release, we have been in regular and steady communication with all of our partners and members of the community. We're in touch with our legislative delegation in meetings, with the chambers of commerce, with local businesses. We have reached out to the company and have a meeting scheduled for the 24th with their government relations people. But right now, we're in a place where we are trying to understand what these impacts will be on employment, on municipal revenue, and on the eventual disposition of the property, and what the timelines are. And as we learn more, we've emphasized our relationships with our partners, and everyone is on board to move forward as soon as we understand what these impacts are going to be.
Had there been any prior discussions with Jabil about maybe what their, 3, 5, 10-year plans were with their operation?
We've had discussions as late as fall of 2024. And at that time, there was no indication. In fact, there was basically a statement that they weren't going anywhere. This is the time when they were disposing of 63 Union Street. But no, we have not had high-level discussions with them. If it provides any context, neither had anyone at any of the state agencies, including the staff at Devon's, where these jobs are being relocated. Universally, there's been a deficit of information coming from the company. Well, I should say, paucity of information has been universally expressed. Again, we've spoken with Mass Development, with the Department of Labor, with the Executive Office on Economic Development, with the chambers, with our state legislators, and with Representative Trahan's office. Everyone is in the same place. So part of our purpose in communicating now is to communicate information as it's received. And our ultimate purpose is to emphasize the town's resolve to address impacts and to rely on our partners as we do so.
Madam Chairman? So, Phil, at this point, we really have no indication of where they would be moving the rest of their existing business. In other words, We don't know, we don't have any idea if it's gonna go to, Fort Devens, not
What-
Fort
what-
Devens, but
What-
Devens.
yes. What we have is hearsay. We don't have
Just
anything
hearsay.
from the horse's
You
mouth.
don't have anything,
And we
well,
heard-
hopefully in your discussions with them, that'll all come out.
Obviously,
but-
we've spoken with people who work at Jabil or have worked at Jabil,
Sure.
trying to get any inside baseball. But what we have is hearsay.
Sure. Just, again, just a follow-up. You said you have talked to Mass Development, correctly? Because they're the ones who run Devon's. I think their contract goes for another 7 years.
Yeah,
And they had no indication whatsoever?
they were as gobsmacked as anybody. We had a conversation with a number of representatives from state agencies and mass development earlier this week. Just to confirm, there's no mass development financing in this move. They were unaware of even that, according to the person we spoke to, that Jabil was even buying a building until it was announced. Or they don't even know if it's buying a building. It could be that they're leasing the building. They're really as in the dark as anyone else. That includes people from the Department of Labor and from the Career Services Division, because they gear up for, significant labor layoffs, those kinds of things, but they have had no notice to date. So moving forward, I think we're interested to know what the impacts on municipal finances are going to be. We're interested in knowing what the timelines are. It's being reported that Nipro Mold and NP Medical will be staying. We'd like to know if that's true. It's in their press release, but what kind of timeline is there on those, if any? Because that's a big part of our municipal revenue input. We'd obviously want to know what the impact is going to be on employment. Are jobs being lost? Are jobs being transferred? How many people who are affected live in Clinton? And what can be done to ameliorate their situation? And of course, we're interested in the impact, direct and indirect economic impact. There'll be a direct impact on employees, on their supply chain partners, and on contractors who tend to work and maintain the facility. There'll also be an indirect impact on downtown businesses, gas stations, the businesses that serve their employees. So again, we're looking to understand what the timelines are and to assess those impacts in a sufficient way to understand if there's a way that they can be addressed through government action, whether they be at the local level or the state level. And we've also been in touch with the Economic Development Administration in Washington, D.C. And then finally, there's what comes next for the property. And so we've had discussions with a developer who has indicated that he has an instrument in place for a period of time, and that we'll know more in a few weeks. So it's not a sale transfer, but maybe, I don't know, maybe it's an option or an agreement to exclusively negotiate.
Can you just repeat that one more time? So they had something in place?
Like a right of first refusal?
Yeah, something, I'm not exactly sure what that instrument is. It was expressed that there's a confidentiality agreement in place, but this developer was comfortable with me conveying that there's an instrument in place, and in a few weeks, we should know more.
So I think my biggest question is the relationship that the town of Clinton has with Jabil. Where is the breakdown? Is it because, where's the breakdown in that, where if there's a tentative, if there's something, there's obviously discussions that have been going on. That I get it, it's a private business, but I would think that there would be at least some sort of a discussion on, here's what's coming down the road. I mean, that business has been here, for decades, and
Jabil's been here for 12 years.
Nipro Mold, you understand what I mean? The operation has been here for decades, right? Gordon Langton, has really left his fingerprints all over this town. And I can't imagine that, I'm a little bit dumbfounded that there wasn't even a courtesy of, hey, here's the, like I mentioned, a 5-year, 7-year.
We are disappointed as well, as I could, we have a working relationship with different departments within Jabil. But the most recent instance where there was a change in their plans, they reached out to us and informed us and sought our opinion on it. That was that was when they parceled off the 63 Union Street building. This came without warning. This news.
You know, even a strong disappointment in not being able to provide the town a courtesy of, this is what's coming out. So instead of things being broken by, you know, the store being broken by the item, or whatever the case may be, it puts the town on their heels in trying to, you know, basically make sense of it and kind of come up with a game plan. You know, incredibly disappointing.
I agree. But this is a resilient community. And if this had happened 30 years ago, the impacts in the community, I think, would have been greater than we may forecast. Again, we need to know more. We need to know what the impacts are on employment, and what the timelines are for transfer of the property and for the continuation or winding down of operations that are identified in the press release as remaining.
Did you say you had a scheduled meeting with them, or you're trying to?
No, we reached out the morning after the article broke in the item. We received a reply email today, 2 weeks later, and we set up a meeting for next Tuesday.
Do you mind if I asked you with who? Is it?
His name is PJ
Fahrenkopf.
He's government relations. I believe that
Florida.
in Florida, yeah. Mackenzie Kelly, who's in communications. It will be Mike, myself, and probably Doug Goutreau from the Department of Labor, who has extensive history in government relations on both sides of the relationship.
Any additional questions? All right. Thank you.
Keep us posted.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
All right. Next on the agenda is an update from the traffic committee. We have a list in the agenda in the packet, but not all of these are looking for select board input. Some of it are still in discussions, but let me kind of run through. We're in the process of scheduling another meeting for March 27th and continue on a regular cadence until we've kind of moved through some of these items or have additional information. So first up was the update on the traffic signal changes at High Street and Water Street intersection. Some changes were made to the signal there to address some issues related to traffic backup onto Main Street. And as a group, we decided to, I'll say it's an iterative process. We don't have a lot of data. We have some feedback from the public, but I would just ask for everyone's patience as we try to work through it. There isn't a lot of space at High Street and Water Street, aren't a lot of areas for turning. As our electrical inspector, Jim Boudry, often says, there's only only 60 seconds in a minute. If you take one from one area, and give it to another, then you create some other problems. So as we kind of work through it, we'd like to make another tweak to kind of take one step back to where we were, but then allow I believe he said 7-second delay to a turn from Water Street. So looking for the board's support there. Like I said, that may not be the end of the conversation, but we're just trying to find find a good solution so that everyone can safely get through those intersections. And, certainly if the public has any feedback, I would suggest maybe sending an email. I kind of anecdotally see things online, but it's also great to have some real life examples. Next up is number 2. So number 1, we're looking for some support with that. Number 2, we had a continuation of a request for no parking on 129 Allen Street to High Street. The situation on that road is, it's not just, there's some businesses along that road there that are, it's not just parking, they're unregistered cars that are there for extended periods of time. So it's becoming a little bit more of a long-term storage situation and conducting business on the public roadways. And it's becoming, I think, a little bit more cumbersome. The police department has gone down and spoken with them. A little tricky with storm and snow removal. And the building inspector did mention that the planning board and the building department are reviewing class 2 license. I hope I don't butcher this, but I guess requirements related to parking. So hoping to have some more information on that. But this is kind of about being good neighbors to everyone on that street. So what the traffic committee is recommending is to make the area between Stone Street and High Street on the south side a no parking zone. So we've tried to go about relieving the congestion on that road in a few different ways. Doesn't seem to be working, so looking for support there. And we can do these individually or all together, but the third one we're looking at is parking on Church Street. And this would be an area that is Main Street, between Main Street and Nelson Street. So it would be right adjacent to O'Malley's garage. Sorry, I believe that's still the name, and across from a fire station. The principal of Clinton Elementary School has tried to address some of the issues there, but what happens is when people are, from what I understand, you have kids that are going on the bus, you have parent pickup, but then you have walkers. And it sounds like there is some individuals who kids are designated walkers, so they're not going in the parent pickup line, but parking on that corner, creating a dangerous situation. Like I said, they've tried to address the behavior with notifications going out to parents, but everyone just wants to park there for just a few minutes, and it's creating some hazardous conditions kind of right near the fire station. So we are going to recommend that become a no parking zone as well. I'm happy to have updates on these other items, but they are kind of still in discussions. But I'll go through quickly. Sand Court, we have a situation where there's a right-of-way that's being blocked, so we're going to ask for town council's assistance on what we can do with that, related to that issue. We did have roadway safety concerns on Berlin Street, and none of us in the group could remember what that was specifically or who put that on the agenda, so we put that on hold for further information. Railroad Safety Council info for the Sterling Street crossing. I spoke to them when I was at the Mass Municipal Association conference in January. They said there might be some things that they could do to assist us, and just in the process of gathering some information. So it was on our agenda, but we did, for the most part, table it. Request for no parking on Green Street from Chestnut Street intersection to the Lancaster Mills parking lot. That was another one we wanted some additional information on. There's ample parking in the parking lot at Lancaster Mills, but as we've noticed in all over town, people want to park as close as they possibly can to where they are living. So that behavior change is sometimes hard to change, hard to influence. Number 8, request for revision of crosswalk at Lancaster Mills on Green Street. We, again, weren't sure what that specific revision request was, so we tabled that. Number 9, we had a request for additional streetlights on Lancaster Road. The information, the police department is going to take a look at that. Let's see. There is no pole there. The cost would be about $1,000. We don't really have a process set up for these types of requests, as we noted from the last meeting. So the police department is just going to gather some additional information about that, as well as the need for speed limit signs.
Do you
Pretty
have,
much-
Madam Chairman, do you have the address on Lancaster Road?
What?
Do you have the address on Lancaster Road that's requesting it?
No, it's right at the, I don't have the exact address now.
Oh.
11, request for installation of speed bumps on Forest Street. We have discussed speed bumps in the past and the, I guess, additional, I mean, it will slow down traffic, but also is kind of complicated for emergency vehicles, and with Forest Street not being a main roadway and the expense of speed bumps, we were not recommending speed bumps on Forest Street. Request for traffic signage to slow traffic at the intersection of Hamilton Street and East Street. So that's, I guess technically an intersection, but it's like it's a curve. So DPW said that they would put up, or they're suggesting that they put up a sign reminding people of the curve. I guess people have hit the folder. So that's a recommendation. Number 13, commercial vehicles parked in R1 and R2 zones. We tabled that because none of us really were sure what R1 and R2 zones were, so we need to gather that information related to that. And number 14 was trailers parked on the street. We did get into a short, obviously, if they're, I guess, registered, it's a little bit trickier. If they're unregistered, it's easier, but we did kind of discuss what the municipality can do related to people parking on the street. Unregistered cars would not be allowed. Also, there needs to be a 12-foot clearance. But, if someone just parks in front of my home, that's legal. So we're just continuing that discussion. I know there's some, Clinton was built in a town where a lot of people walk to work, or they had public transportation. And so these are issues that I know we've been going through for many years, but there isn't always an easy solution. So we're just continuing those discussions as to, some clarity related to, what the police department can do, what the municipality can do related to either, like, for example, commercial vehicles parked there, large trailers, things like that. So those are all the things we're discussing in the traffic committee. Like I said, we're trying to move forward with some of these issues on a regular cadence, so looking to schedule again at the end of March. So to summarize, we're looking for support or either additional discussion for us to consider related to number 1, traffic signal changes, number on High Street and Water Street, 2, no parking on Allen Street between Stone Street and High Street, and parking on Church Street near, between Main Street and Nelson Street.
Madam Chair, I would like to, just have a discussion before, or if any motion, prior to any motion being made. So the continuation of request for no parking from 129 Allen Street to High Street. So I had requested through the traffic committee about the commercial vehicles being parked in residential neighborhoods, which I believe is a bylaw violation. And, you know, if you look on Oak Street, there's a tractor trailer that parks in front of, it's on the side of the road, often facing the wrong direction. And my understanding is that cannot happen. That's where the tractor trailer that used to leave it there and then eventually was moved. But, so you have that part of it. I also put on the trailers parked in the street. So same neighborhood. There's a trailer that has a locked hitch that is registered that is literally in the road. All right. So if you think about the two ways, it's facing south, and the two wheels everything is in the road. There's nothing on the side. There's nothing off the road, you know, one wheel on, one wheel off type deal. And I think if we're going to consider a no parking in one area of town, I don't see how we can overlook the fact that you know, there's a jet ski on a trailer that's just down the street from the same location on Oak Street. I don't see how that's not a safety hazard for traffic. You know, during the wintertime, it's still parked there. And, you know, I think that it's has similar concerns on Allen Street are. It isn't being it's not being very neighborly because it restricts traffic significantly, and like I mentioned, the safety part of it. I think the challenge that, you know, right around the corner from Allen Street, you also have cars that park on Main Street that are often two wheels in the road that turns into a one-lane street. You know, we have bylaws in town that address parking on the sidewalks on a dozen different streets that continues to happen, including Cameron Hill, where there's multiple vehicles that are parked in the street. And there's not a very wide, you know, emergency breakdown lane per se. But I think to single out, you know, one request without looking at the broader issue of there's a significant congestion issue within this town when it comes to parking, and every neighborhood seems to have these issues. But to think that there's no, you know, we're limited in what we can do in enforcing standalone trailers that are not attached to a vehicle in the middle of the street is concerning. And, you know, these are residential neighborhoods on top of it, whereas the neighborhood on Allen Street, there's commercial properties surrounding it. I drove by there today and it's absurd how some of those vehicles are parked. I completely agree. I'm questioning why we're not enforcing this in every neighborhood in town, and we're singling it out to one section of Allen Street. The other side of Allen Street is also loaded with cars, you know, along, when you're coming out and you're taking a left to go on Main Street, there's vehicles there.
Madam Chairman, just, I did attend the meeting on Friday morning, and I know this is the second time that the traffic committee has discussed the issue about Allen Street. And I don't think it's to exclude any other street. I mean, this issue was brought up, and that's what they're addressing. So, I mean, again, there are other areas, but it's this one particular area that came before the traffic committee, and this was their recommendation. It's not only right there, I mean, I know there was some discussion about the fact that up by the Rite Aid, a lot of those residents are using the parking lot across the street where Rite Aid was, and that building has been purchased. And more than likely, all those vehicles are gonna wind up out on the street, which the discussion did come up for the public safety, that it could become a really, really bad problem in the future. So, but the discussion was from, what was brought up to them at that meeting, so, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, you do make a good point. I mean, I will say, like, we're trying, we do feel like, I think we left the meeting saying, I think we need to, kind of settle in on like, what are, because we just can't put up like no parking signs all over Clinton, or restricted, but they're obviously like, we're looking at, certain concerning areas where, like I said, it's specific requests, but happy to continue the discussion if,
Madam Chair,
Hold on.
if I may.
yeah,
When the traffic committee had made the recommendation of implementing the winter parking ban around town, and the board had decided to not uphold the recommendation. I think over the last several years, people have become so, they're just used to parking on the street. And so I think, that period of time where there's no parking on the street would push people to find parking off street, right, through the winter. And, it's, I think it's something that, we need to revisit. Because I think there's, whether it's up Main Street, whether it's on Chestnut Street, there looks to be off-street parking at many of these residents' property that they're choosing to park in the street and not in their driveway. And I think, just coming out of the car wash today, there's a large pickup truck and a trailer that's parked right on the sidewalk. You could not see around the corner of it, and it's hard to, puts the police department in a predicament, because if they're going to enforce that obstruction directly across the street, there are vehicles that park on the crosswalk all the time. That. So I don't know, with the parking clerk, with that position being created, I'd hope that there's a possibility that could expand the area, because I know it can be a lot to keep up with the police department, but at the end of the day, it's safety, and for pedestrians and for motorists, and there's some of these areas are very hazardous.
Madam
I'm
Chair.
allowed to make a comment where I'm on the traffic committee, or is that not allowed?
no, I'll allow it, but you have to come up here.
So just one of the things that I want to point out is, when I started in the traffic committee, you'd go into the traffic committee and you might have one or two things. Now there's 14. And we're not trying to play any of them down. What the problem is you have a large boards that everybody has an opinion, and are all good opinions. But we could sit there for 6 hours to try to get all 14. The other day I had to leave early. I double booked a meeting. That's on me. But that being said, it's difficult to get through. It used to be 3 or 4. You'd be in and out of there in an hour. That's not the case anymore. After that meeting, I took a hard look at that Cameron Street. It's a bad situation, and there's no doubt. But it's like I said, there's so many different opinions. You got to try to formulate the best opinion that you can, and it's just difficult, because it's now you got to occupy, hours and hours. You sat on the board, Matt. You know how long it is. And it's getting longer. We're at 14 now. Wait till we get to 20, and we're gonna be there. We're gonna be there. There's no doubt.
We already have a backlog of.
That's what I'm saying.
Couldn't even-
It's difficult, because you gotta occupy, you might have to block out 4 hours of your time to sit down. That's the thing. It's just, time is very difficult. And like I said, everybody has their opinions, and then like Mary Rose came in and talked, you have to allow everybody to put their opinion, so it's just time consuming. I just wanna make it clear, I don't think anybody's trying to push off any particular area. I just think it's difficult, you know? And then one other thing, again, I wasn't there, but like, obviously Jimmy Boudry is under my budget, you know, so I'm just letting you know that. As far as the lights go, and
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you said was $1,000 or something a light.
The new street light.
Yeah, that's under my budget. So you know what I'm saying? And I don't know how many lights they're looking for up there. Like I heard Mary Rose ask the numbers because I grew up there, so I know the numbers pretty well. But like, how many lights are they looking for? They're looking for one. They're looking for two. You know, I'm just asking because I wasn't there. You know, so that's an issue. And and if I have money in the budget, I'll gladly put the lights up.
Yeah.
So they put them up and then we maintain them. That's it, out of my budget.
Yeah.
So, but just to let you know, it's gotten more and more time consuming and difficult as time goes on.
Madam
Wow.
Chair,
Yeah.
please finish.
So that's it.
I guess just taking all this into in process, I don't think it's going to get any better. If we keep handling things on a one,
Yeah.
you know, and
Totally
then
agree.
next door is going to say, well, they got no parking there, they got a handicap there. If we're not, I mean, we have to decide if we're willing to sit down for a very long time and come up with a comprehensive policy that is going to upset some people.
Agreed.
Because there are more and more cars in this town, and there's not more and more street. So something's got to break, and we either turn it back into the Wild West or come up with something. It's not working this way.
100%
And again, it's not fair. If it was up to me, I'd have it one way. If it was up to somebody else, they'd have another way. It's not fair to put the public safety and the police, the enforcement in that position. So I think at a certain point, this can't continue.
I agree.
No, and I think some of it, I want to, like you said, I think even the more we kind of talk, like you said, about the stuff, I agree. I think at the end of the meeting, we're like, so what can we, what constitutes a dangerous roadway? You need 12 feet, you cannot park on the sidewalks, and that seems to be really, really hard for people to understand around here. With the winter parking ban, I will say those discussions, it was a rough winter. I think we all know that for this past winter, but previous winters, Kevin brought data. He brought specifics, many inches, how often they plowed. And it was, trying to become less like, hey, I was at this intersection and I had to wait. Like, we're trying to get away from some of that and be more data, which Mr. Boudry does, as we're kind of updating loops, and we're asking also developers that are building in certain intersections, like, to integrate into their expenses the ability for us to update that so we can handle the traffic. So thank you for saying that. Because
And then one thing, like just using the last storm as an example. I know they did a lot of towing, but that's the first time in my history that I actually came up Union Street and drove down to Water Street, and there was not one vehicle on that straightaway. I've never seen that in my life, ever, in a snowstorm, ever.
Yeah.
So they did a great job on that. Again, that was, I specifically looked for it on the last storm, and it was perfect.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of part of the behavioral change. I think
Correct.
that's part of if there is a parking enforcement officer, and people start to know that, then they will, kind of more abide by the rules. And I think, it is hard for overall. So, maybe this is a good discussion, I think, because you're probably right, it is. You miss one meeting and it's like, now they've all piled up, and then, some of, we want to talk about the railroad safety and the bigger things.
There's no doubt.
I think you all make really good points. I think, maybe we can just take a moment, take a step back, and do feel strongly about a couple of that.
I think one part that I think we need to reevaluate is if we have bylaws that state there's no parking on the street on Oak Street from James Street to Boylston Street, that's where all this is taking place. So if these bylaws are outdated, I think we need to
revisit,
have a conversation to see what's realistic, because there's bylaws in there that are, whether they're enforceable or whatever the case may be, but they're in there. So we're gonna enforce other areas that are not. So I think that's kind of, maybe, you know, I don't know if we have if it's under the sidewalk committee
Yeah, I
that
know,
we're on,
yeah.
or whatever the case is, but
We're
it's,
kind of meshing like traffic and parking into one thing, but all right. We can,
Sounds good.
yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Are you here to talk about traffic?
No, I'm so sorry. I was advised to come in here for the public comment.
Oh.
I came here, Michael knew it. That's the only purpose coming here. And I also tell the secretary, before the meeting, I'm coming here for public comment.
Oh.
I plan my time. I'm nothing to be rude, but I bring my son directly from the violin classes. We both had not eat dinner. And I had to go to Boston, pick up my daughter coming
Sorry,
from.
we had public comment earlier. Did you
Yeah, I
not
think-
hear us say, is anyone here for public comment?
Yeah, I was here before the session start. I mean, the lady know, and then Michael know, and I was here, and then one people comment, and then
So
gone. I
let
don't
me
have a
start over.
chance.
So you missed public comment.
I was here.
Right, so when we said, is anyone here for public comment?
I think one lady went into the seat and then didn't call any other person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you didn't call other. I'm sorry, but I had to go to pick up my daughter, and nothing to say other matter, doesn't matter, but I will be forced to foreclose by the town. And I have the building for 3 years. I do not allow to operate business and keep raising my tax to the way I cannot afford. I obey the town's all the regulation and rule, and all my requests never been granted. I have a tenant waiting to rent the building. I got everything done accordingly. At the end, they said, you cannot provide sufficient parking. Why we only, the tenant specifically need only 8 parking space? And we have that space and then did not get approved. And I begged for exception, no exception. I've been charged enormous money to review 3 pages of application. And I'm sorry, a building is 119 Chestnut Street, the first building when you enter the town. And I don't know why. This is not matching what I learned from I came to this country. Nothing I have been requested being honored by the town. I have been obstacle for all the department. And I applied permit, and the prior inspector told me, you apply permit, so got your application, so it would be approved. And then they told me, you did not pay your tax. I paid the tax, and then everything changed. Michael nicely have all the head from different departments sit down. After I paid the tax, everything changed. Okay, the building had been bent to rent it out for 3 years, and the last tax I received $15,000. How can I pay for the tax while the town blocked me every possible way to rent the building? And I even filed a report with Michael. I have been discriminated by the building inspector. He asked me to do things, he tricked me to do things. I provide every single document he needed. He told my contractor everything's good to seal it. After he sealed, he asked him to disclose everything. And that's not right. And I'm waiting for the permit to close almost 8 months. And nothing I have applied to be done in this town, but keep asking me to pay the tax I could not afford. I'm sorry, this is the town I really asked for help. I forced to be foreclosed. I even asked just 3 parking on Chestnut Street, and I see parking everywhere. I see people doing business in the whole town, but not me. I don't know why.
this is the armory.
Oh.
Is it it is the armory?
Oh.
Yeah.
There's no parking.
Why
There's
we
no
provide,
parking there.
when we the tenants said we only need 8 parking space. The planning board said, no, you need 30 parking space. It's not that the tenant asked for. And I said, nicely asked for exception, no, just deny my application. And when I provide permit, got everything accordingly done by whatever request the building inspector asked. Never got approved. And asked me to pay the money, nothing got done. And now going to another year, tell me you owe taxes again. Why I have not approved to be rent out the building. 3 years.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you own the building, then yes, you do owe taxes on it
If my building do not allow to rent out because the town,
because of the town. Okay.
all the regulation. I mean, from the town perspective, the building worth nothing. That's why the town get out a report said this building worth nothing but $11 million debt. And I take the building, and how come in the town's eyes, it worth nothing, and I had to pay $15,000 and do not allow me to rent it out? How can I got money? I cannot just use my own saving to sustain the building. And I try to do business with the town because the town tried to rent the building from the church and could not come together. So I reached out to all the school department, the superintendent. I reached out to the recreation department, and they came in and said, "Oh, that looks nice." And then when I follow up, nothing happened.
I mean,
I just have been banned to rent it out to normal.
But there's a parking minimum, and there's a parking minimum in the town. I don't like it, but that's the law. And so if you don't have, if the planning board says if you're going to make the building occupied or usable, you have to meet the law. There's a lot of laws. So
in my understanding,
this is not Q&A, so
Yeah.
we'll indulge you for a little bit here, but
Yeah.
public comment is usually just public comment this way. So
I'm sorry, I may not understand the
Sure.
whole process. I
That's-
apologize.
that's okay.
But again, my building, I will be forced foreclose. The only reason is that because I do not allow to rent this building out, I think all the people on High Street or whatever, they do not have parking. Why they allowed to be in business?
this sounds like something for, did you talk to the planning board about this? It's their decision.
Yeah, that's why I have been picked out, singled out from the rest of the town.
We
Just
don't, we don't oversee the planning board, unfortunately.
Okay, so, but I cannot, so that's why I come in here. I don't know where to go to ask for help. Should I just public side to the whole nation to ask, is this fair? I've been singled out in the entire town.
I'm not sure, I can't speak to that, but I know I don't like mandatory parking, but we'd have to change that law. So
Yeah,
the
it's-
law as it stands says you need a certain amount of parking spots depending on the usage.
Yeah, again, the planning board definitely have a different standard because the rest of the town
No,
doesn't
they
have.
don't
that.
have
No, they
different
have, they have a
No,
standard,
the-
it's the law. They go by that.
I'm sorry, I just had to say, because our building has the parking issue, but not just this building has parking issue.
Oh, no,
Many,
it's not-
many business
Yep.
has a parking issue on High Street,
Yes.
but why no one have the restriction like us? And again, I was presenting, we have, the actual tenant only need 8 parking space, but the planning board said, no, you need 30.
Right.
That's not right, because it's not actual the tenant.
It's a problem
needs.
with the mandatory parking law. And a lot of communities are getting rid of them, which is a discussion for another day. And it's not a case-by-case basis. In town, we have a parking plan, and the planning board decides if you have this big of space and you expect this many people, like the library, if we're going to build a new one, I think they're getting 50 spots, which I think is absurd, but they have a formula that they work things out, and that's what we're stuck with, unless we wipe the whole thing out.
So then my question would be, how other people operate in this town, operate business, why they don't have
They obey the
such
law.
parking?
Well,
I'm sorry?
it's not in there. I mean, some of them are existing businesses that have been here. They're not looking for new. That's not, you know,
Then I probably should had to go through all the cases for the people even recently asked for be in the business. In my understanding, no one have seen the experience the difficulty I have. Again, in terms of my building, so far.
but your
we
building
do-
is huge too.
And it's a massive challenge.
I'm not asking to rent the whole building. I'm just asking to have 8 parking space to use the gym itself. I understand if I ask to use the whole building, it will have a big burden. I just asked to use the gym. And we have the people ready to rent and have been killed by the planning board. Again, now the immediate concern is I have been forced by the town to be bankrupt.
I know,
Madam
I'm sorry.
Chairman,
They're,
I just, I think this could go really on for a long time, but I know, I don't want to question the planning board because they have all the facts in front of them. And whatever action they take, or they did take, I'm sure they did it by what the bylaws said, and they adhere to them. And so I think if she has a problem, she would have to go back to the planning board. And, I mean, how could we pass any kind of judgment here? We don't
Oh,
know
no,
the
no,
facts.
that's
So, I mean, I think there's a process, and I don't think the process is coming to the Board of Selectmen to try to overrule the planning board.
You know, it can be very complicated to deal with, boards and municipalities because we do have
Okay, thank you for
laws
letting
and
me
laws
know.
and requirements.
Okay, thank you for letting me know that you're gonna oversee the planning board again. I
They're,
just
they're an independent elected board.
got it.
The citizens of Clinton elect them so that they do their job. And then as a result, we have laws that we follow. So we do our job. There's some things that we do
Understand.
not
So how about
influence.
now I have been forced to foreclose. The town tried to foreclose my property because I cannot pay the tax $15,000. Why my building cannot allow to be rented out?
Again, to Mary Rose's point, we don't have all this information in front of us, so we're just trying to communicate, like, this is why it's happening, but it's, like I said, there are laws and requirements that they're following, and if you purchase the property in town, those laws haven't changed in a while. Those are the,
I think is this how the assessor view the property? Why the town again view the property as the debt is worth nothing, and then why I take the ownership, it become $1 million, 1.6 million assessed value, and again, why I don't have the benefit to got anything from. I mean, it's back to like how this country formed. You pay the tax, it has right. And in my understanding, I don't have any right to do business in this town. And even when I apply for the building permit, and I cannot get a building permit done. And I try to even apply, just a historical building, I try to apply for a couple $100 credit. Nothing. And I try to ask for a street parking for 3 cars, and the whole town I see they use the on-street parking. I only ask 3, and I do not have a
you
3
can,
parking space.
I mean, that part I do know. You can legally park in front of that building. You can park in front of that building.
Yeah, so then
You
I can
can,
collect
yes, you can park in front of it. So there are spots you can park on that street.
I can park, right?
Yeah.
Not according,
Please don't
not
take this
according
as
to the
legal.
bylaw.
No,
because-
don't take any advice from us. You need to talk to the planning board and probably get a lawyer to talk to the planning board.
Talking about like
From Boylston to Water Street, Chestnut Street is,
I'm stepping off you. I don't think street parking counts as your
No,
commitment.
it does not. It does not, but you can park.
Right, so I try to make it like a legal parking space, just like the rest
No.
of the
Those
town.
don't count.
Which
Those aren't
those-
yours. And
No.
again, this is not what we
I
do
know.
here, so, and you're just dropping in on us. We appreciate the feedback, but we didn't know anything about this 15 minutes ago, and it's not, we have no say on this. So it's very difficult. We could empathize with you and sympathize with you, but I'm not sure we have a say in this. Actually, I'm pretty sure we don't.
I know.
Well, Madam Chairman, too, I mean, just to go back the history of this, that building was offered to us by the state.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we had a study done and realized that it was going to cost multi-million dollars
And there's no
to
parking.
bring it up, and there was no parking. We refused that offer from the state. So you knowingly purchased that building from the state. We had nothing to do with that. And we have nothing to do with it now. You had to go through the planning board and through the proper authorities within the town. And as the chairman said to you, they're a duly elected board, and they have a set of bylaws that they have to work with. And I think, and I have full confidence in the planning board, and whatever the decision was, I think it more than likely was appropriate. So,
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think
Thank you.
without seeing the actual evidence, I mean, here's my experience. If
I
you
think
said
we-
it's
I'm
appropriate
so
or
sorry.
justified.
I'm sorry, I apologize if there was confusion with public comment. We've now given you the opportunity to express your concern. We've let you know that there's really nothing we can do. We had a similar situation like Mary just said. We know what you're up against, but we need to move on to other things in our agenda for this meeting.
Not a problem. So in another word, this is the highest management level for the town. And in the whole town, in different departments, have been blocked every possible way. And I do not allow to rent the building out, but I have been taxed the building at a value which the town said was nothing.
That's not accurate.
Again, we're not the assessors either, but
Yeah.
just because someone sells you something for $1 doesn't mean the building's worth $1.
If that's a commercial building, it should has a right to rent it out. But again, I have been blocked to be rented out in every possible way.
So you've
I would talk
said,
to the planning
so you've said, yeah.
Huh?
I would call the planning board and try and get back on their agenda or find an attorney and see if there's a legal remedy.
Okay, I guess probably the only way just find attorney to sue the town for compensation, because we have been blocked to rent it out. All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Back to Allen Street.
Traffic committee, yeah. Maybe we can, yeah, so I think in this discussion, maybe we should, like everyone's noted, kind of take a step back and kind of look at it more holistically.
Yeah.
I also don't want a whole town full of no parking signs either, so, like I said, we're meeting regularly, so let's kind of maybe table number 2 for a bit. Is anyone willing to support, 1 and 3? As recommended.
Well, I would move, Madam Chairman, I mean, I would move to support 2, but, I mean, well, I'm going to move 1, 2, and 3. There were recommendations by the planning board, so, I mean, I'm sorry, traffic committee. So I'll move that we approve the request from the planning board. Excuse me, the traffic committee. I got planning board on
That's
my
okay,
brain
no
now.
worries, no worries.
I'll second for discussion. So what's to stop people from parking on the residence side of 129 Allen Street if we're putting no
Yeah.
parking on one side?
Well,
know.
that's, Madam Chairman, just, I know that was a discussion that the police chief voiced, that he felt that in the future, that would become even a problem there, and it would probably have to be no parking on both sides.
Right.
Because of the
So there we're
congestion
go-
down
yeah,
there.
it's kind of like, I mean, I know
I
I'm
mean,
on
just
this
as an
committee and we
example.
I hate
are
parking
making
more
this
than anybody,
recommendation, but
Well, I mean, Sean, there was a car
Sometimes
there
it's-
with no front end on it for 6 days.
It's a
I mean,
disgrace. Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's terrible,
I just
so.
think we're putting Band-Aids over everything. It's just gonna.
Well, I mean, you gotta start somewhere, and like I said, it's, the issue on that street came up, and that's how,
I know.
mean,
I don't
that's
wanna
how
do
the
it that
planning
way.
board handles these. I mean, all of these issues were brought forward by someone.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
And I guess.
and I don't think
I guess
it's
yeah.
picking on anybody.
No, no,
I
no,
think
no,
it's
no.
just, it's an issue that was brought up, and the discussion was that it seemed to me that all of the traffic committee
Yeah.
was in full support of following through with the no parking.
Right. And I guess it's my opinion that we're here to maybe take a step back and look at this through a bigger lens and maybe make harder decisions. I mean, it's easy when you just have 129 Allen Street, yea or nay. When we really should be taking back and looking, laying an overlay on the town, where's parking, where's this, all this stuff? It's going, it's going to take a long time and it's going to get people very upset. But I think that's the real path to victory, not whoever calls and shows up and wants a street light or no parking in front of their house. That's my opinion. We have a problem here.
Yeah.
And I don't think solving it
I don't-
by telephone call, whoever gets to us first, is going to fix this in any meaningful way.
Yeah.
Other than those people who complain.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Ahmed?
Yes.
I agree wholeheartedly with what John just said. This, and that was my point in the beginning. I drive down Allen Street. I'm frustrated by the parking down there. They went to whoever built that building went to the planning board, met their requirements for parking, and we still have a parking problem on Allen Street. I think the solution to this is not gonna be easy, and it's gonna have to be comprehensive. And I think just spontaneously reacting to this one or that one doesn't get us to any good solution. And I think the work has to be put into it by us, by the planning board, by the traffic committee, to come up with a comprehensive solution to this, and I really don't want to be advocating for that kind of work, but I think the alternative of, it's not zoning, but spot zoning, just
Yeah.
isolating
Yeah.
difficult situations one at a time and addressing them is not a good solution to the problem.
Yeah.
Madam
I
Chair,
mean,
can
yeah, I don't think the goal is to, right, like, push it through, so I'm happy to take a step back.
Can I just ask a question? So with the dealer license committee, there was discussion, right, about there being parking requirements.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So-
And Gary is going through that.
So say for like an existing like repair shop, does this apply to the repair shop too?
Correct.
So like for this business, if the next time they renew their license, then would this be something where,
Address it then.
it can be addressed through there as well?
Oh, yeah, but I mean, I think Gary would have to come in and give a, overview of the whole
Yeah.
process.
Yeah, the planning board, what the planning board is going to do this spring is they're looking at all the properties for repair and class two, and making a determination as to how many cars can safely be on that site. So people come in just asking for how many they want to sell. But then when you have a repair spot, there's more cars. Then you have employee parking. So then it's overloading the site now. And then you have repair businesses that are storing cars. They're maybe it's an insurance case and it's going to be there for a month and they keep taking those cases on. Now they have nowhere to put them. And to the board's point, they're putting them in the street now, half worked on. So the planning board expressed out of this committee that they wanted to look, and the building commissioner is working with them to pull all the files that he has on those properties. And then they're going to do a comprehensive look as to what can be on the site. Now, that doesn't address the street parking, but they will look at how many cars they will be allowed on the site. And then they're going to make a report recommendation to the select board to see if the board would agree to attach those requirements to their license.
But it's not going to stop them from the parking on the street, is what I'm saying. It's the place of business itself. It's not when you come back out onto the street.
Right. Because I'm thinking like, no parking in front of there, could they just take their car and park it up on the,
Yeah.
across the street? And like,
Well, I think
that
that's,
just, I feel like if it's tied to their renewal, where, I don't know if there's a way to make it clear that, cars that are being repaired cannot be on the street, then, I don't know.
Well, I think the building inspector has been down there many times. I know the police chief has been down there on the site. And it doesn't seem to have solved the issue at all.
I'm not sure, no parking sign's gonna help them.
Yeah, I was
Like,
gonna say.
we gotta just,
Well, I mean,
we
at least
find
they
it?
can enforce it, Sean. If there's a no parking sign and there's parking there, they can tow that
but
vehicle.
aren't they in violation of zoning now, or the parking, or planning board?
I think that's where there's, right, like,
No, they're out on the street.
yeah.
And
This is a
And
public
we're
street.
saying, we just got done saying to the woman that was here that
Yeah.
the street
Yeah.
Doesn't
parking is
count.
available for everyone.
Yeah.
And if we're trying to regulate parking on the street, it has to apply to everyone, in my mind. We can't prefer,
Yeah.
we can't say if you're a customer, you can't park there, but if you're a resident, you can park there. It's a can of worms that I don't see the solution to.
Well, anyways.
We can vote on it. Yep.
And just one last question on the update on the traffic signal changes. So the changes that were proposed for the intersection, those were,
Are kind of going back to the way they were with a slight modification.
Like a
letting the.
seconds delay, say a
Yeah.
5-second delay, so that if someone was taking this, I believe, Madam Chairman, that's how it was. So if someone was coming down Water and they were going to take the left, they would have that delay. That's how I understood it.
That's correct. That's correct. That's correct. So you're coming down Water Street, so you're gonna go back to the same way it was.
With
You're
the,
gonna come down Water Street, you're gonna have, that's gonna go green, you're gonna have a few seconds to make your left-hand turn. Then coming up is gonna go green, and then you're gonna be conflicting. So that if somebody comes down and it's gonna make that left turn, it's gonna back it up again. But at least it's gonna give it, like Mary Rose said, 4 or 5 seconds to get a few cars into that turn. Because if one person sits there, everybody goes up straight, they just sit there. They don't move, they can't cut across, and it just backs it up. So that's the change. It's just gonna add time to that side of the light. That's it. That's the only change.
But I think there was
And I don't know if that was.
a month, like a trial thing.
Yeah,
That's what I think it
absolutely.
was.
100%.
That may not solve the problem, and,
No.
I mean, I went through that intersection at 5 PM today, and there was nothing happening. No backup, no cars, everyone went through,
But
one car coming
I'll give you an
north.
example, like I said.
hour before
Like I
control
said in the
did.
meeting, I come up all the time. I came up, the light went green, I made my turn, I looked back, that car was 5 lengths behind me, hadn't even moved, they're probably on their phone, like I said.
Yeah.
A lot of distracted drivers down
For
there,
sure.
lots, I've seen them all the time. I go through there all the time.
So, as,
It's literally like a light tweak till we,
as far as the motion that was,
yeah.
Well,
put forth,
I'll retract my motion, and if you want to do one at a time.
I'll make a motion to update the traffic signal changes at High Street and Water Street intersection based upon the recommendation of the traffic committee.
And Madam Chair, if I could, part of that recommendation also included, I believe, blocking off some
Yes.
areas,
Yes.
right?
Blocking off right in front of the post office, they're gonna cross mark it, so
Yeah,
that people
it's-
know not to park in it.
Right,
That's
it's
one spot.
it's
Court.
currently.
Palmer Court, another
Palmer
one, correct.
Court.
Yeah, it's currently, well, one is currently, has a sign.
People don't read it. though.
That says-
Doesn't make
I know,
any difference.
I
It's
know.
there, they don't read
I
it. So
agree.
what happens is the people come
No,
down.
I know, I
They can't get in the post
I-
office.
it happened to me 3 times on Saturday,
I see
I
it
know.
all the time.
I'm just laughing because it's
Yeah.
a sign, like, no one's looking at the sign.
Don't block the
So,
box.
the DPW has suggested that they're going to paint,
Paint.
which many municipalities do, and that's probably a better visual signal for people to stop. That may not stop them either.
Because if you're too close to the line, people will right up the right side and pass you, because you're not blocking that intersection.
God
They go right
forbid-
by,
God
they can fit
forbid,
by, they
yeah.
go right by. Seen it many times.
But to Michael's point, we are
Yes.
also suggesting it at
Palmer
Palmer
Court, yep.
Court too,
Yep.
for safety considerations there. So it was essentially like a block with an X through it.
Yep.
It's like, do not block.
Because that's where cars were backing up beyond that because they're closer to the intersection and they couldn't see getting out because of the cars. And a lot of times they can't get out because cars are blocking that.
Is it Pearl Street the first left
First
up there?
one, yeah.
It is.
And then Palmer is the dead
The
end?
next one.
Right.
So they're doing, they'll block Pearl and Palmer?
I'm not sure.
Well, back to the, if you make a request,
Yeah.
Palmer,
Palmer,
it was Palmer.
they asked.
100% Palmer. Pearl Street was not spoken. about.
Not to say that the Pearls, but we're back to the original the source conversation of like,
Well, I
if
believe
you, it's who,
100% it was Palmer.
if you raise your hand and say, I want this, then,
I mean, if you
Might
have
need to
just
be
get cars
holistic.
coming up, well, at least maybe there's another way to go. All right.
yeah. I mean, we can hold, I mean, this post office is already a do not block area. We're just adding paint to it.
Yeah,
Well,
correct.
don't forget Palmer though is a dead end. So
Yeah.
Pearl Street has another,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Palmer is just,
No.
so I can understand why
Yeah. that's
someone
okay.
may have raised that issue.
Okay. Any further discussion? Roll call for vote. Bill, do you want to start?
Bill Conley, aye.
Sean Kerrigan, aye.
Julie Bruce, aye.
Matt Kobesai,
Mary Dick, aye.
and then, yeah, so that's it. All
Okay.
right.
Anyone want to talk about the parking at Church in Nelson and Maine for the,
Yeah, I'm just trying to get my head around this. So
Sure.
which side of Nelson, like, does the
So
fire
Sean,
alarm side?
Yeah.
Sean, right, so what happens is, as Julie said, what happens is that the walkers, the people who drive their vehicles in, and then they back right up the driveway behind the fire station. The buses are in the front, and then what happens is, people don't want to wait in that line. So when they come off of Main, and then right at the intersection, so you go to O'Malley's, where O'Malley's comes out.
Yeah.
And then you got Nelson Street, and they park right in the middle of the road, they just get out of the vehicles and walk away. So
Right,
what we're
Nelson
trying to do, See it every single day of the week. My office is right there. So what happens is they completely block the interstate, they completely block it.
No,
So then
that should be an easy one.
yeah, so then people come around the corner to go on to Church Street, and it's just, traffic's just stopped, there's no, because now they have parked literally in the middle of the road, walk down, like they say, just for a minute, have their child walk back up the ramp, and traffic is destroyed at that point.
And that's what we put the no parking signs in front of the superintendent building.
That's what I was trying to
Yeah.
figure out with what was left.
Yeah, that's, just that little piece is what's left, causing a massive pile up. Let's go with that. So those signs are important, let's just go.
And not to belabor this, but as Matt said before, it's just, I mean, we're not in a town where everyone has their house where they can do their own thing and they can plow it, and leave their car there for months. Everyone talks about how much they love living in a small town, living, knowing your neighbors, like, how about we start treating each other a little better? If you put one car there, like you said, at the morning, you're going to be backing things up for everyone. And all of a sudden, it's a problem in Dunkin' Donuts or her businesses. It's like, can we just think a little bit more about how our actions are impacting them? I don't get to kumbaya here, but like, these are common sense things. And I know you think it's just a minute, but if everybody does that, then the whole town's messed up. We can't have it that way and have Clinton be Clinton. And I know people get mad at me for comparing experience to other towns, but like, the thing that makes this town special is our density. Is that you can walk to different places, that you're close to your neighbors, that you cover a lot of ground in a small amount of space. If we fill it with cars, especially people who are not taking care of those cars and leave them anywhere, we're not gonna have the town that anyone wants.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the, extending the no parking on Church Street near Nelson Street to Main Street.
Use your head. Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Sean
Oh, sorry.
Kerrigan, aye.
Shit, sorry. Oh,
Bill Conley, aye.
Sean.
Kerrigan, still.
Julie Bruce, aye.
Dakota's aye.
Mary Dick, aye.
All right. Thank you, friends. We'll report back on the traffic
It has been
committee
taken
next
up.
time. I know.
Town.
Yep, next up is the town administrator report.
Allen Street is a hold for now.
Yes.
Allen
Yes.
Street's a hold, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a couple of quick questions. I appreciate the fire chief staying for the executive session. So just one update on, we talked at the last meeting about the Sterling Street project, and I know the superintendent of public work referenced it tonight. We did have a meeting with the engineer, with the Montezut Planning Commission. They've indicated that there are two projects that are ahead of us. And those projects, as Mr. Bartlett referenced today, are extremely overbid. Price increases. One has gone up double in price. So one is 21 million and the other is 18 million. So they need, and the MRPC, in order to fund those, they need 2 funding years to fund those projects. So it's going to do half funding this year and half funding next year, which pushed Clinton back a year. So Mr. Bartlett's going to work with the engineer and make sure that we're ready to go so that A, we don't get bumped again, or B, if one of these other projects don't meet their milestones, then we would be next up, according to MRPC. If we're ready, we'd be next up to take one of their spots if they don't meet all of their requirements. So
What happens when ours doubles? How long is that gonna take to pay for? If we gotta wait 2 more years, that's gonna, it's not gonna go down.
Right, yeah, and
They're committed to this?
Yeah, I can find it. Mr. Bartlett was going to contact the engineer and find out what that timeline would be. The one concern that we have, which they're also reaching out to Mass DOT, because there is some indication by the Mass DOT right-of-way people that we might have to do an Article 97 taking for this part of the sidewalk of Depot Park there, which would need legislative approval. So we're trying to get that clarified so that if that is the case, the legislature can do that before they go on recess at the end of the summer, at the end of July. I mean, they'll still be in session till December, but they don't take any formal votes after the end of the summer. And if this doesn't require a vote, I mean, anyone anyone can oppose it and it would have to, no vote. But if it's something that's unanimous consent, then they can still do it after that. But
Is
the
that something we have to do at town meeting?
No, well, we'll double check on that because we did go to town meeting for the easements.
Yeah.
That might be needed, so we'll double check whether the town meeting has to specifically do Article 97 as well. So that's a good point. Yeah, so as information comes up, we'll let you know more there. Because the road is getting in such bad condition now, if it gets pushed out, then there may need to do some temporary paving in order just to allow traffic to get by until it comes up again. So we'll get more information as it comes up. Just wanted to an update on the earmark projects. We did have several departments that have submitted some projects. We'll have a list for the next board meeting to determine and prioritize. The school had submitted 2 projects. There was another funding vehicle this week that came up, so they have submitted through that avenue. If they don't get it through there, then we'll probably put them back on the list for this one as well too for the next meeting. So there was Senator Markey's office did a webinar. Those are for the state earmarks. Senator Markey's office did a webinar for the federal earmarks. So we got kind of the breakdown and the process of what needs to take place for those as well too. Those can be a little bit more, but there's certain categories, and it has to be a specific project and not an ongoing funding. It has to be a kind of a one-time set timeline to spend that money. But that can get submitted to Senator Markey, Senator Warren, both. So, and that will be April 3rd as well, that we need to kind of put that in the portal for those projects. So, and the third thing, just something to start thinking about when we're talking town meeting, if it's something that is going to even be desired, that the office that was contacted about from a potential licensee for a social consumption for cannabis law. So those regulations just went into place. That will allow cannabis consumption at social events or in conjunction with your business. If you're running a social gathering type business, that cannabis use will be allowed. It's an opt-in, so you can't give a license unless town meeting accepts that statute and allows the town to abide by those regulations. However, one thing that's going to be a little bit curious is that there's also going to be one-day cannabis license as well, like the board does one-day liquor licenses. So it goes by wherever, if you have a license in a community, that license can travel for one day, for one day. So even if your community doesn't allow the opt-in, somebody could still come here for a festival or fair or a one-day event, but it would still be subject to all of the town permitting process. So they can't just come in and set up shop. They would still need an event permit from the town, and you would have to set those guidelines. And if they would meet those guidelines, then they would, and they get granted a permit, then they could use their license to have cannabis at that event. So the town would only be able to control the permitting of the event, not the cannabis use of that event, even if you are a non-opt-in town. So that's something that's coming, that's out there, and we've been contacted by a business in town. So I just wanted to bring it to the board's attention as we go forward, get more information.
Would that consumption be inside the building, or is it restricted to outside the building?
No, I think it would be part of their business would be, again, we'll get more information,
So you
but.
can't smoke cigarettes inside of a building, but you can smoke other forms.
Right, but I think there's other ways of using it
That's
as well too, yeah.
So does the town could be overruled then, so if the state approves it, the town can't, you have to go along with the state? Or
No,
can
the
town-
town meeting would have to adopt it. So
Okay.
you would only be allowed to issue licenses if town meeting approves it.
Okay.
But if it's a one-day event, their license from another town would overrule, but you can still vote to not give them a permit. Like if they're having a festival or whatever, you could say no to their festival permit.
I mean, to me, it's ludicrous if you don't allow someone to have a cigarette.
Yeah.
But you could come in here and smoke other forms of entertainment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get more information. Regulations.
Yeah, medicine, yeah. Mhm. Okay.
We'll find out more as it goes along. But thank you.
Thanks, Mike. It's interesting.
We have nothing for administrative business. Next up is old and new business. Does anyone mind if we?
Yeah, I think we could maybe talk about that under
Yeah.
the warrant schedule and 'cause it's a warrant article, so.
Oh, what is the warrant article?
Yeah. I think that's what he's asking for, is for the town to,
Oh, okay.
for the board to adopt a warrant article, so, yeah.
Can we just do the town hall lighting policy super quick?
Sure.
Yeah.
So I would just ask if the town, the select board would consider a preliminary trial where the month of April is lighted up blue for autism awareness, that maybe we try the proposed week-long of blue light in the tower, just to see how it goes with facilities, to, and then
Test run.
revisit it after that period.
Okay.
Got a motion?
Yes.
Second.
Any discussion? Bill, do you want to start roll call?
Bill Conley, aye.
Sean Kerrigan, aye.
Julie Prusak.
Matt Kobesai.
Mary Dick, aye.
So the warrant schedule is different from this.
Right, well, I was asking if the board would open up the warrant. We usually do about a month. So if we start this tonight, then give to the second next board meeting to accept articles.
Okay.
I know Mr. Zadowski had been before the board and he had provided some feedback information on me, my mistake of not getting him an actual slot on the agenda. But his research his letter is requesting that he's submitting a warrant article to the board for town meeting, because
Okay.
it needs town meeting approval. So I
Okay.
just
So
thought
should
if
we
you're
open the
opening up the
schedule first?
article,
Yeah.
and then you could ask Mr. Zadowski to present his article to the
Okay.
board, so.
All right, let's
okay.
do that.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion that we open the annual town meeting warrant schedule for fiscal year 27.
Second. Second.
Do we need to set an end date for that at this point, or?
I think it would be
Sorry.
that 15th, is that the April?
May 15th, April,
April, yeah, so it'd be the April 15th.
Okay.
with an end date of April 15th, 2026.
And that, just for the public's knowledge, if they're watching, that would be to accept citizen petitions as well. You would need to have 10 signatures before the town clerk and have them approved and then submit to select board for review. So, thank you.
Just briefly, Madam Chair, we say it every year, if you're going to submit a petition for town meeting and you're trying to change the law, you're writing a new law. We strongly suggest you find an attorney and have them review the license, because otherwise you most likely end up waiting till the end of the meeting and nothing happens. So please, for your sake and everyone else's, if it's something that's important to you, do your homework and get some professionals to look at your language.
Thank you.
Did we have a second?
Yes, if I say.
Okay. Any further discussion? Roll call for vote. Bill?
Bill Conley, aye.
Sean Kerrigan, aye.
Julie Prusak?
Matt Kobesai.
Mary Dick, aye.
Okay. Would you like to present your
Sure.
warrant? You could just state your name and address.
Sure. Madam Chair, board members, my name is David Sadowski. I reside at 7 Cedar Street in Clinton. I'm the principal of DJ and Associates. I'm here representing John Bates on a matter of a public right-of-way that exists over town property at, and I'll just read it to make sure I'm correct. I included a letter, and you should have it in your packet, plus a GPS map.
Yeah.
My client, John Bates, seeks to be granted a permanent use of the right-of-way that exists over the town of Clinton-owned land located at 29 South Meadow Road. This existing right-of-way starts at the former dump entrance road and continues southerly adjacent to the MWRA property at 31 South Meadow Road. After passing the MWRA, the right-of-way forks into two branches. The main branch of the right-of-way continues southerly toward the Sterling Town line. The other branch of the right-of-way heads southwesterly and continues to the Lancaster Town boundary line. The center line of the existing right-of-way easement is also depicted on the attached satellite plan that I gave. Basically, Mr. Bates owns land up at the ends of both of those right-of-ways, and some of it's landlocked. They've had right-of-way to use things before. There used to be a rifle range, there used to be a quarry up on the southwesterly branch on the fork, and they've also had a laydown area up past the former dump area where they have materials and other stuff. So they just want to make sure that everything is above board, that they come in and they get a permanent use to use it, so they're not questioned on, why is a truck coming in? Why do you still have a key to the gate? Why this, why that? So what we'd like to do is seek and get an approval so that we could move forward and put this on the town meeting, put up for a public vote. I believe the only way to do that correctly would be to come before you because you're in charge of town lands and such. And also, this isn't a public roadway, but it's a right-of-way, so it's actually a way to pass and repass over town land. And underneath every street, like Chestnut Street or any other ones, that's also town land underneath those roadways, so people get a right to pass and repass over those also.
And the select board determines the articles that go on the town meeting as well, so, yep.
So I don't know the exact language, but I know that that is the request that we're trying to make here. So I was advised the last time I was here to bring back more information. I brought back a better plan. I put it in letter form and I approached. I'm ready for any questions.
Yeah, and I think we could then forward that to town council to take a look at it, and then it can be in the board's list of draft articles that they can decide on next month when they look at the warrant.
Excellent.
Okay. I think we're good.
I just wanted to add, I just watched the way the meeting was run from beginning to end, and I know how long you have to stay here and just like traffic and everything else, and you're doing a great deal of work for the citizens of the town. And I know it seemed like, I just have patience and tolerance to be able to sit and listen, and it was interesting to sit and hear some of the stuff. But it's a thankless job, just like mine, when I do engineering work, all the permitting and the forms and the copies and the other stuff that nobody really realizes that goes on. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Bill?
He's saying goodbye.
Okay.
I have one thing under all the new business.
Yeah.
So Dr. Meyer had sent out an email to everybody about the next steps for the town administrator process, and I would like to make a recommendation that Dr. Meyer continue to manage the process going forward for the select board as far as organizing and following up with candidates. I know it's not on the agenda.
No, it's old business, so.
I'll second that.
Yeah. So, I was just looking at his email to see what information.
April 1st, is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah. So I'm not, I can certainly set aside time on that April 1st meeting to conduct interviews.
Standalone?
What? Yeah.
Do a standalone.
But I think if, based upon the email that had come out, it sounds like the committee is, or the recommendation is it will be brought forth. So, I've been speaking with him, if, I don't think we would have to wait till April 1st if the names came prior to April
No,
1st.
I mean, he's looking for us to, which is just to move forward with the process that he's outlined in terms of contacting the candidates to see if they want to move forward in the process. So that would be a yes if he's going to continue with that process. And then, yeah, we can dedicate time to interview them outside of our regular meeting schedule and give him some dates or fold it into our, I think we should do them all.
We've got a budget meeting that night too, so
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if,
we're going an hour apiece.
And I don't know what these people's schedules are, but.
I mean, to make, you know, if possible, you know, if the board was available on a Saturday to conduct the three, providing the candidates are also available, then, you know, if you're able to get one or two on that day, then you're only interviewing one or two during the week,
Yeah.
if that works better for other people. But I would say if Dr. Meyer if we can communicate availability to him, and then he can get the availability of the candidates.
Yeah.
And
I
then-
think in his email as well, he was looking to do some backup checking and
Reference
stuff like
checks,
that of
too.
candidates, what I think is absolutely essential.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I think, I thought that's what your motion was to, as he mentioned in his
Yeah.
email, that these are, he wants to follow through, you know, get the authorization from the board to potentially do what he feels is
Agreed.
the proper process from this point on.
So then essentially just leaving it for him to organize amongst us as availability, and
Yeah.
just go from there.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll just reach out to us?
Well, I think that's what he already had done,
Yeah,
right?
and I think that's what he did with the search committee, so,
I
we'll leave it to him, and then if we have to discuss it on April 1st or provide schedules, then I think you're, so. Okay, I will follow up with him on that. Oh, we need to, sorry.
Yeah.
Mary seconded. Is there any further discussion?
Thank you to the,
Yeah.
To everybody's.
the search committee and everybody. Mr. Conley, I applaud your suggestion. I thought that it worked really well, and everybody that was on it, it went very, very well. So thank you for that.
You're here.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for proposing.
All right.
Thank you.
Mary, do you want to start the roll call?
Mary Dickard, aye.
Matt Kobesai.
Julie Bruce, aye.
Sean Kerrigan, aye.
Bill Conley, aye.
Okay. Are there any committee reports? Exhausted traffic, so. Okay, doesn't appear to be any.
I have one,
Oh,
just
sure.
one small thing, sorry. A constituent reminded me that March 29th is set aside to honor Vietnam veterans, both living and deceased, for their service, as well as serving as an opportunity to welcome those home who survived the war. I'd like to thank Clinton's Vietnam veterans for their service, and I hope that they get to enjoy at least part of Sunday the 29th and the peace that they earned. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, if there are no more community announcements, we will be leaving open session to go to a closed executive session. Article 2, Clinton Fire Union. We will not be returning to open session. I will take roll call to go into executive session. Bill, do you want to start?
Bill Conley, aye.
Sean Kerrigan, aye.
Julie Bruce, aye.
Matt Kobesai.
Mary Dickard, aye.
Good night.
Thank you.